Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Good evening, racing fans. Welcome back to NXTGEN Racing live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on Kick. Thursday nights, you join us here for the GT3 League and in its 7th installation, hosting here at NXTGEN Racing. Welcome along for the 5th round of the season here at Zandvoort. We are on the shores of the North Sea in Netherlands, about 30 kilometres west of Amsterdam. Tonight, we'll see out the first half of the season, and we'll be heading straight into the second half of the season after tonight. But a little bit first about the series itself. This is the NXTGEN Racing GT3 season, as we mentioned, hosted on Thursday nights. My name's Alex Everett, your commentator for this series. It's a season that's been running, series that's been running for a very, very long time, and we have two different formats of racing for these GT3 leagues. The format we'll be running tonight is a qualifying session starting on the hour, and that will follow with a 20-minute sprint race. That will form the grid, but reversed for each category of our drivers in the field, and it will be a 1-hour feature race to finish off the night. It's a fixed setup series, so all drivers, even though they're driving different cars, all of them have got a setup they have to drive on the car. They're not allowed to tinker with anything to optimise the performance of their car. Nope, they have to have the exact wing angle that's specified to them. Tyre pressures have to be the same. Damper settings, everything like that. The only thing the drivers can change in this series is brake bias. So it is purely down to driver skill to get themselves to the top of the standings. And speaking of standings, there are 3 different classes, or categories as I like to call them, on offer in this series, and they typically range across the field in terms of skill. It gives everybody across the field a good opportunity to try for championship wins. The gold category typically comprises the top third of the driver field. The middle third will be into the silver category, and the lesser experienced drivers go into the bronze category. A big shout out to our partners, sponsors and affiliates here at NXTGEN Racing that include PowerMax, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC, and Doble Motorcycles. You can get involved in NXTGEN Racing if you want to, if you scan the QR code on the lower left of our screen there, or head into the description of this video and there is a Discord link there. There you'll get access to the Discord server, as you guessed it, but there you'll be able to get in touch with the admins, communicate with the drivers, and you can sign up to any of the leagues that are on offer here at NXTGEN Racing, including Thursday night's GT3 Racing, of course. And there's also Tuesday night Legends Racing and Tuesday night NXTGEN Touring Car Championship, which is starting later this month. These are the tracks the drivers will be racing on in this particular season of GT3 Racing. We started off nearly a month ago now at Misano World Circuit in East Italy to open up the season. Then we went to Watkins Glen in America for the second round of the season, followed by a Canadian round, round 3 at the Circuit Zandvoort, also known as Montreal. That was our first of 3 endurance rounds of the season. You'll notice the writing is in gold and there's a gold star next to the Circuit Zandvoort. That is to signal that it is a 2-hour endurance, and there are 3 of them hosted in this championship. Last week we were at Snetterton 300, and unfortunately it was a race meeting that was cut short, as there were technical issues that were going on in the background beyond the control of any of the NXTGEN admins, and therefore we had to cancel the feature race last week. The sprint race points will stand, but there will be no rerun of the feature race at Snetterton. The drivers are aware, by making you fans aware that is what's going to happen. But we'll press on this week, hopefully no issues, but we're at this week the Zandvoort circuit in the Netherlands, home of the Max Verstappen fans in the Formula 1 series, of course. But after this week here at Zandvoort, we'll have a week off, and then we come back for round 6 of the championship to start the second round, the second half of the season will be at Bathurst Mount Panorama Circuit in Australia. That'll be a 2-hour endurance as well. And then round 7 of the championship will be hosted at the Algarve International Circuit, also known as Portimao, in the south of Portugal. Round 8 will be hosted at Silverstone Grand Prix Circuit, my home circuit, so I'm looking forward to that very much. Round 9 will be hosted at the Canadian Tire Circuit in Canada, also known as Mossport. And then the final round of the championship, where else is it going to end? It's going to be at Le Mans, of course. It's a 2-hour endurance, of course, not a 24-hour endurance. That'd be quite something, that would, in this series. But yeah, Le Mans will host the final round of the championship in late May, so not too far away actually. And we are heading out of the first half of the season after tonight. So drivers after tonight will be, you know, in very established championship positions as they head into the second half of the season, and they'll be really focused on what they need to do to achieve their targets for the second half of the season to see it out. And these are the cars the drivers can choose from or are driving. There are 10 to choose from at the start of the season, and drivers can change cars during the season if they wish, but the penalty will be a 50-point championship point deduction. Now the cars that are on offer are the Acura NSX, the Audi R8, the BMW M4, the Chevrolet Corvette Z06, the Ferrari 296, the Ford Mustang, the Lamborghini Huracan, the McLaren 720S, the Mercedes AMG, and the Porsche 911 992 edition. All are GT3 cars, and GT3 racing is one of the more prominent types of racing and types of cars in motor racing at the moment, particularly on iRacing. It's been probably the most popular category on iRacing as long as I can remember, to be honest. When it first came along, it instantly took to the hearts of everyone. And it's taken to the heart of our 40-plus grid here at NXTGEN Racing on Thursday nights. And as I mentioned earlier, the format for the sprint race and feature races are a 20-minute qualifying session starting on the hour in just about 8 minutes' time. And that will set the grid for the sprint race. Now, the grid for the sprint race, there's no category considerations. It is where you qualify overall in qualifying will be where you start overall in the sprint race. And the results of the sprint race will partially decide the grid for the feature race, which is a 1-hour race, and we'll see one pit stop. That's the optimal strategy for the feature race. And that feature race will be based on the sprint race results, as I said, but every category will be grouped together, and the results of the sprint race will be reversed within those categories. So if you win the sprint race in your category, you will start at the back of your category in the feature race. Understand? Yep, good. Right, a little bit about Zandvoort before we head into the championship standings. As we mentioned, we're on the shores of the North Sea in the Dunes area, just north of Zandvoort town. We're about 30 kilometres west of the capital of Amsterdam. Zandvoort has always hosted the Dutch Grand Prix in Formula 1, of course. It hosted it starting in 1952. All the way to 1985, and the circuit took a little bit of a decline after that. It was generally too long and too dangerous, actually. But it's picked back up, and with its shorter layout, which is synonymous now with motorsport racing fans. Everyone recognises this layout in motorsport. But the shorter layout, it helped run series in the more modern day of motor racing. Lots of open wheel series and plenty of very well-known named series such as DTM, World Touring Car Championship, and Blancpain GT. And of course, GT racing is where we're at tonight. It's a 2.6 mile circuit, or 4.2 kilometres, 14 turns technically. There are 10 to the right and 4 to the left, which means the left front tyre and the left rear tyre actually on these cars is going to take a hammering around this circuit with all that load, and particularly with this circuit there being the banked corners, which puts even more load on the left side of the car when it goes around right-handed turns. So, and there's plenty of long corners as well, as you just saw the next-gen drivers go through right there. And that's going to be crucial in the second race tonight, the feature race, where drivers typically try to prolong their tyres for the entirety of the race. It's going to be quite difficult around this circuit, actually. So we'll see how they get on tonight when it comes to tyres. But first of all, before we get into the racing tonight and the qualifying session tonight. This is how the championship points look heading into tonight's round 5 of the championship here at Zandvoort. And Ben Mccluskey, following the sprint race last week, although he only got 4th last week in the sprint race, he still leads the championship by quite a margin, near 30-point margin, from Łukasz Sidor, who did win the sprint race last week. It was a very, very impressive performance. He started 3rd and took the lead within a lap and a half. And yeah, it was a brilliant display in that sprint race, and I bet he was actually a little bit gutted the feature race didn't go ahead, because he was in fine form last week. Likewise was Arie Langford. He qualified on pole position last week for Snetterton, but 2nd place is what he could manage in the end in that race. Stefan Wessels had a good performance last week as well. He is there in 4th in the championship, back into a good position considering the bad luck he's had this season so far. Jack Pittas, good, strong, consistent season from him. 5th place at the moment, with Corey Price, who is our endurance race winner back in Canada 2 weeks ago. He's in 6th place. Gaz Williams, one of the hosts of this series, is in 7th position, followed by Mike Barber in 8th. Gavin Gardner in 9th position, and Jake Pitt will round off the top 10 in the gold category. Now the silver category. Jeffrey Kruger tops the standings with a 4-point lead, and he took the lead in this silver category last week at Snetterton by winning the sprint race. A great battle between him and Alain McKane throughout the majority of Snetterton's sprint race last week, but Matthew Cheverton, I can't remember exactly what happened to him. I don't actually know what happened to him. I remember watching it and just not really sure what happened, but Matthew Cheverton dropped down the order late on in the race, and as a result only scored 7 points and loses his championship lead. But we'll see if things get better for Matthew Cheverton tonight, but he has got a 4-point deficit in the championship. Matthew Addy, very consistent season and a strong 3rd place for him at the moment, with Phil McDougall in 4th position, who I don't believe is racing tonight, as I can see on the YouTube chat. That would be a bit of a shame, but yeah, Phil in 4th place, a very good position in the championship. Alain McKane with strong 2 race performances, Canada, Montreal of course, and Snetterton. He has put himself into good contention for that top 5 spot. Nigel Stock, 6th position, just a few points down from McKane, and in 7th place is Mark Baker, followed by George Stone in 8th, Jason Raff in 9th, and Ian Manners rounding off the top 10. Bronze category, and runaway leader at the moment, Adam Wilson-Weir, who got 2nd position last time out in the sprint race of Snetterton, was leading for about half of the race, but lost the lead towards the end to his teammate Jonathan Berry. But Stein Vatens, who is the poster driver for tonight's race, he features on the thumbnail. He's in 2nd position in the championship, following a good haul of points at Snetterton last time out. Rob Savage in 3rd position, followed by, we just mentioned him, Jonathan Berry in 4th position, who won the sprint race at Snetterton, but other bad results throughout the season means he's a little bit further behind at the moment, but when drop rounds come into play, that'll be when Jonathan Berry gets up the standings. Last season's bronze category champion Elwyn Sykes is up to 5th. Season is getting a bit better each time, but top 5 at the moment for the defending champion, and Simon Hunt is tied on points with him in the 6th position on the standings. Gabriele Papaconstantino in 7th position, followed by Danny Switzer, a race winner at Watkins Glen a couple of weeks ago. Andy Chell in 9th, and Stephen de Gravelia in 10th position. And the team standings. At the top of the standings is the Mission R powered by Maud's team, consisting of Adam Wilson-Weir, who is leading the championship bronze category, George Stone from the silver category, and Łukasz Sidor, who is 2nd in the gold category. And of course it is your category points that contribute to your team's tally, and therefore score the points in this particular championship. CSA Team Woza are 2nd position, consisting of drivers Stefan Wessels, Jeffrey Kruger and Carl Ustason. They are 40 points down in 2nd position. Further 6 points down is Aztec Racing with Ford Mustang, consisting of Papa Constantino, Yilmaz and Cheverton. And 4th and 5th are the 2 Quatermass Motorsport teams. So that's our championship standings heading into tonight. And as I said earlier, it's the point in the season where drivers are really considering where they are in the championship, how things have gone. And it'll be the point now where they're really going to focus on getting those results that they need to make sure that they can contend for the championship in the latter part of this season. Particularly this guy here, Stefan Wessels, started off really promising with a win in the very first race of the season. But since then, his luck just hasn't quite worked out. So we'll see how he gets on tonight. Needs the luck, does Wessels, and someone who's got a little bit of luck back in themselves by the looks of it, touch wood, is Alain McKane. 2 strong performances in the last 2 races at Montreal, where he was leading the majority of the race, didn't quite convert it to a win, but also the sprint race last time out at Snetterton, he was right behind Kruger throughout the entire race. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into qualifying. As I mentioned, this is a 20-minute session, all drivers on the track, and it will form the grid for the sprint race coming up in about 20 minutes' time. So there we go, drivers straight out on the track. Now, is this a track where drivers are going to want slipstream? And I'm going to say yes for the most part, because there are quite a lot of long, fast sections on this track. And as you can see there's one that the drivers are about to approach now, albeit they're on their warm-up lap. But Ben Mccluskey, our championship leader in gold category, heading along one of the faster parts of the circuit here. There are 3 notable fast sections, or fast straight-ish bits, and this is one of them. Very, very bumpy section where the car can get unsettled so easy on that approach to the back end of the circuit here. And we'll do an onboard lap with Mccluskey, as we usually do with our championship leader heading into each round. But a very technical circuit here at Zandvoort, and I'm getting the sense from the drivers' chats during the week that drivers quite like this track actually, and of course iRacing have revamped it to the version we know right now that hosts Formula 1 with the higher bankings, particularly at Tarzan corner and the Arie Luyendykbocht corner, and you're about to see the aforementioned corner very, very shortly. And we're going to go on an onboard lap with Ben Mccluskey of this track here at Zandvoort. And look how steep this banking is. It's almost like an IndyCar circuit, or NASCAR if you thinking about the fact that we're in a Mustang right now. But along the longest straight of the circuit, braking into Tarzan corner very, very shortly. There we go. Down to second gear, hogging the inside, taking a little bit of curb, and then flat on the throttle as we exit the corner. Into the right-hander here of Gerlach, and then into the left-hander of Hugenholtz, which is one of the steeper bankings, and you can see taking the outside line through that corner is the better line to take through the gears. Approaching 150 miles per hour, we get up to 146 actually for the long right-hander here. And as we head into the Masters corner, I think Ben Mccluskey would have got an off-track penalty there. He went a little bit wide. And into turn number 9, that is actually what it's called, right-hander. And as we head into turn number 10 now. And as I said, the right side of the car will be quite cold at this point, because up until this point there's been a lot of right-handers and therefore left-hand load. Now as we head down to the chicane, the Hugenholtzbocht. Right, and then straight away left, taking plenty of curb on the insides. Up to the Kumo corner now. Right-hander that will lead straight into the Arie Luyendykbocht corner. And this might be an invalid lap, as I mentioned, from Ben Mccluskey. But that is a lap here at Zandvoort Circuit. Very, very fun circuit indeed to drive, and I've not actually broadcasted it on iRacing before. I've broadcast it on Race Room many times, so I'm quite familiar with it. But on any sim, it's a fantastic track. And as we mentioned there, Ben Mccluskey did not set a valid lap, but Jack Pittas definitely has. He's at the top of the standings for the golds at the moment, but we are very early doors here in the session. Silver category leader at the moment is Alain McKane in first place, in fine form, heading out of 2 very good meetings. And Morgan Short, newcomer to the series last week, although it was only half a meeting for him. Morgan Short goes to the top of the standings in gold category at the moment. Bronze category leader for the minute is John Berry, who won the sprint race last time out at Snetterton. Plenty of drivers coming through on the timing board. Let's keep an eye on other gold category drivers who will be threatening the top. Now Ben Mccluskey, let's keep an eye on him as well. He's heading towards the latter part of the lap. Arie Langford is on a second lap, I do believe, and he is about halfway around the lap, so we'll wait for him. Stefan Wessels also. Łukasz Sidor goes to the top of the standings, having just completed his lap, and a 33.2 puts him in front by just under half a hundredth. So really not that much indeed. And last week's sprint winner in the silver category, Jeffrey Kruger, 9th position overall, and we will switch the overall standings very shortly because that is how the grid is going to be formed. But we are going to keep a track of the category standings for the moment, because being first in your category is important for those all-important bonus points that contribute to your championship. Now Alain McKane still top of the silver standings. Now what about Łukasz Sidor? Oh, hang on a minute, we've got Arie Langford who's just crossed the line there, and he has put himself into the pole position spot, nearly quarter of a second clear, but just swiping it away by 0.04 of a second is Stefan Wessels, going to the top of the standings, and he's been very, very good in qualifying this season, and that just proves it. Jeffrey Kruger goes into pole position provisional for the silver category, and Gabriel Papaconstantino, who had a little bit of a slipstream from Jeffrey Kruger, goes into pole position provisional for the bronze category. So how is John Berry going to respond? And also Adam Wilson-Weir, who was quickest in the practice session in bronze category, so we'll keep an eye on him as well. But Kruger and Alain McKane, I'll be keen to keep an eye on them throughout excuse me, throughout this session, as they were close in Snetterton as well. There's a car off in the background there. I think that was Mark Baker actually, but he's back to the pits. Now Adam Wilson-Weir seems to be on a good lap here with a purple middle sector. Not such a good first sector though, and he had a little bit of slipstream from Alain McKane there as he crosses the line. He goes to pole position and 10th overall in the standings, and he's a long way clear of the bronze category there. 0.462 clear, so plenty of time to catch up for the other bronze category drivers. A lot of drivers already in the pits, and that just tells you how demanding on the tyres this track can actually be. There's plenty of drivers in the pits like Mccluskey, McKane, Langford, Wessels. Plenty of other drivers might be heading there as well. Łukasz Sidor carries on, just 0.08 down from pole position, which really isn't much, and considering how many corners are on this track, it's quite impressive. And the only ones to get in the 32s at the moment is Wessels and Langford, so getting in those 32s is going to be good grid positions for these drivers. Heading round the final corner, let's see what Sidor does. Is he going to peel off into the pits? Yes, he is. Drivers getting their fresh boots on to do more laps. We might see them do that again later on in the session. It might be another trip to the pits for a lot of these drivers. Weir's on a yellow first and second sector, so he may well be heading into the pits right now. And only one flying lap for the majority of these drivers. Now Mccluskey did do another lap, but I reckon that was on, I'll say, scuffed tyres, because 8th position at the moment. That's very unlike Mccluskey, more than half a second down. So we'll see how he gets on, maybe when he comes around for another flying lap, as he's on an out lap right now. Quite a lot of drivers on an out lap due to the fact that the tyres need to be replaced so quickly and often here at Zandvoort. Drivers that haven't set a valid lap time yet is Andy Chell, Davide Favo, Michael Evangeli, Matt Gatto and Phil Dougal, who might not be racing actually, so yet to be established. Yeah, lots of out laps appearing on our timing screen there. Drivers who may well be on flyers are Morgan Short, 4th place at the moment. Very impressive position for him on what is effectively now his debut, as it wasn't a full debut last time out at Snetterton. He did the sprint race, and of course we couldn't run the feature race. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on tonight with a little bit of practice last week at Snetterton, and a track that isn't particularly favoured by many drivers, particularly in the GT3 world actually. It's more preferred in touring cars. But tonight is a real driver's track, a real fun track. Okay, Adam Wilson-Weir is on a purple middle sector, so this is looking good. But we'll switch back to Morgan Short and go back to Wilson-Weir very shortly, as Morgan Short was on a PB middle sector, but does not go quicker at the whole lap. So stays where he is in 4th. Heading around that final corner now. Adam Wilson-Weir, championship leader in the bronze category, heads into the pits. And it might be an aborted lap, it might be the fact that he'll want new tyres on the car. Okay, not many drivers on green splits at the moment. Yilmaz and Paul Williams are on PBs. And McKane here will be challenging for pole position against this guy here, Jeffrey Kruger. And Alan McKane is actually on a pretty good lap, a outright best in category first sector and a green middle sector. This looks good if he can get this third sector right. Ben Mccluskey has gone quicker, he's gone up to 6th position. But what about Alan McKane here? Crosses the line, Gaz Williams went higher, and so did Alan McKane. He goes to 11th overall, but still 2nd in category. Just 1/4 of a tenth, 3/4 of a tenth behind Jeffrey Kruger, and there's really not that much at all between any of these drivers out there right now. Just look at the splits between the top 6. Really not that much at all. And between Wessels and Mccluskey, there's only, well, it was 4 tenths, but now 7 Wessels has gone quicker. And he has really thrown down a gauntlet there, nearly 1/4 of a second quicker than nearest rival Langford. Now Wessels wants to kick-start or restart his season bid. And he's doing just so with a good time in qualifying right there. What about the bronze category? Who can respond? So John Berry here, not too far behind his teammate, let him by Mark Baker there. So we'll not be on a flyer here. We'll try again on the next lap. There are a couple of more drivers who are on outlaps now, so drivers who have gone in the pits at the halfway point and gone back out on the track. There'll be plenty of that in this qualifying session. I do worry about the state of the tyres in the feature race later on tonight. Let's have a look at track temperature as well. That's something we haven't quite done. There's quite a bit of humidity and the track temperature 32, so it's fairly hot actually. Air temperature's not that bad, but the track temperature is not cool, I would say. It's higher than optimal on iRacing. As we see a driver just wide there. I think that's Adam Wilson-Weir actually. It is. And he's just getting out of the way of other drivers. It's not particularly a problem, but he's going to have to clear his tyres because iRacing grabs hold of that dirt on the tyres quite a bit actually. And they're going to have to clear the tyres before they start a flying lap. Or restart a flying lap. And there's plenty of gravel on the inside of the Hans Ernst corner, on the inside there, and that will not help any of the drivers going through that corner. Quite easy to kick up that dust though in that section of the track. Now Jeffrey Kruger heads across the line, goes quicker, goes to 4th overall in the standings and extends the lead in the silver category in qualifying here. So let's switch to overall standings because although pole position in your category gets you the bonus points, it is overall that will set the grid for the race. Now the key thing to mention here, Kruger has just put himself with 3 cars between himself and Alan McKane. That's crucial, particularly as Kruger is championship leader tonight. And his nearest rival, Cheverton, is only in 4th in category and 17th overall. And this is a yellow lap here, which means he's gone a bit quicker, has Cheverton, but not enough to move up positions. So we'll see if there's another lap in the bag for Cheverton a bit later on. And another key thing to point out is our bronze leader at the moment, Adam Wilson-Weir, has got plenty of cars between him and John Berry, and plenty of cars between him and most of his championship rivals. In fact, 2nd in the standings is Stijn Vatens, down in 25th. Quite a long way position-wise behind Adam Wilson-Weir. Plenty of gravel on the track on the outside of turn 10 there. And that's what Zandvoort is like. It's so easy to run off the track here and it just kicks up all the gravel and all the dirt onto the circuit. You can see on the inside there, plenty of it. And it's really not going to help the drivers. You can see it all being kicked up on the exit of the corner there. which means this track's not going to be at its finest right now. It might have been earlier in the session, it was at its best. So it's going to be real interesting to see if drivers can actually go that much quicker now. I'm sure someone will disprove me there. But we'll find out. Nigel Stock crosses the line. Stays in 24th at the moment. Not many drivers on green sectors. Phil McDougall is, and now this will be a first lap of the session for Phil. Now he is racing. That's good. That's real good. This line he goes, and he'll hop up to 31st in the standings, 10th in category. Russell seems safe at the moment. 2/10 clear of the nearest rival in qualifying, Harry Langford, who's actually latched onto the back. Getting a little bit of slipstream here. That'll be very helpful for Langford. Having a fast driver in front of you not only helps you along with slipstream, but you're also keen to get that relative down between yourself and that rival in front. That's the grit in the teeth you need as a sim racer sometimes. Kruger quite safe at the moment in first position in silver category and well within the top 10. Now, I sang his praises 2 seasons ago being in bronze category and stepping up to silver category, and only 2 seasons later I'm now thinking Kruger might well be able to deliver in the gold category one day. Certainly one of the more improved drivers of this series that the time that I've been commentating, and this just proves it with his qualifying performance right now. He's got a good team around him, to be fair. He's got the CSA guys of Stefan Wessels and Sean Shute around him. Very good company. Not many drivers going faster. Yellow sectors all over the place. They just can't go quicker right now, and I guarantee you it's down to the gravel that's in sectors 2 and 3. Łukasz Sidor, now he is going quicker. Green sectors, so this could be a good lap here from Łukasz. Let's see how he gets on. 3rd position at the moment. It was a 32, wasn't it? Oh, it was an invalid lap. So it was a 32, but it was an invalid lap. And I think if it wasn't invalid, if it was valid, that might have gone pole position, because it did come up as a 32.72. If my memory serves me right from 10 seconds ago. But that looked good. But, you know, you have to set the valid laps. Thank you, Verano, for tuning in, cheering on Danny Switzer as usual. Danny Switzer not racing tonight, unfortunately, due to work. So hopefully we see him in 2 weeks' time at Bathurst. That is our 6th round of the season. We're back to the endurance racing at round 6 at Bathurst. I love the endurance rounds. Very simple format, but very fun. Oh, and we've got a driver off on the inside there. Oh, and Stefan Wessels wide as well. I think Rob Savage was one of the drivers just then. He's back into the pits. Now let's see if we can get a quick little replay of what actually happened there. Now there's Rob Savage, there we go. He takes a spin heading out of the Masters corner. Oh, and and Stefan Wessels didn't have enough time to react to that. So that'll be a little bit of a hamper into Wessels' qualifying session, is he'll have to go on another outlap and go for one more flying lap to defend his pole position here. And we just seen Gaz Williams go further up the standings to 7th. His teammate, Ben Mccluskey, not in a good way here. 1 position lower than what he was at Snetterton, and that was a concerning look as well for our championship leader. But we do know that Ben Mccluskey delivers his best in the races. Now, drivers who are on quick laps. Jamie Dury's not on a bad lap. 15th in class, 25th overall. So let's see if he can get himself further up the grid. Ben Mccluskey is on a good lap at the moment, so we'll cut to him shortly. But Jamie Dury does not go higher in the standings, stays 25th. Now Mccluskey on the final corner with a green first and a green second. Off the top spot, half a second down, so he needs a lot of time to claw back. And he was a yellow 3rd sector, and it was not a quicker lap. He lost a few tenths in that final split, actually. Stays 5th for the time being. Kruger is nipped into the pits. That'll be the end of qualifying for him. He thinks he's done enough. Can Alain McKane respond? be, from what I've seen in GT3 racing here at Next Gen, his first pole position in any category. Now, what he's achieved before Season 5 is unbeknown to me. Langford completes a lap but does not go quicker. It was an invalid lap, actually. No, it wasn't. It was a 33.1, so Langford not too far off his PB in this session, but it's not going to be quite enough to go quicker and threaten Wessels at the top. Now McKane's on yellow sectors here. This is not going to go quicker, but he's going to be 11th still for the time being. Drivers will be able to go for another lap here, but there's not much time. I imagine there's not much grip on the track to get more times in. Look, it's just yellow splits coming up, but the drivers on the bottom row of our screen there. Yellow splits everywhere. Even championship leader Mccluskey is struggling. Wesselson on a good middle sector. But Mccluskey is not going to go higher in the standings. He stays 5th. And Wessels will head into the pits. He knows he's got pole position. And that'll be the bonus point for his championship. And, crucially, front row of the grid. Kruger's in the pits. We've got Adam Wilson-Weir, who's just crossed the line. Does not go quicker. Stays pole position, though, in the bronze category, and plenty of cars between him and nearest rival in this race, John Berry. And Jeffrey Kruger, I presume, will be pole position. Yeah, all drivers getting yellow splits at the moment. Mike Barber on a green middle sector, which might be helpful. Same with Ben Altria of Full Tilt. And Alan McKane can't go quicker. No drivers can. Like I said, it's a track that the gravel being kicked up onto the track is just so detrimental to the drivers and the tyres that qualifying session actually felt more like a 10-minute session rather than 20 minutes. And drivers, there are drivers who are going to be coming across the line here, but none that are going quicker. And nice surprise of the session, Morgan Short, 4th place on what is effectively his debut in the GT3 Championship. Brilliant performance in qualifying here for Morgan Short. And he'll complete this lap. It won't go quicker, but still a very good qualifying session for him. So our pole sitters for the categories, and therefore getting the bonus point for their category championship standings, will be Stefan Wessels of gold category, Jeffrey Kruger of silver category, and Adam Wilson-Weir of the bronze category. A couple of drivers still out on the track. Langford, Wilson-Weir. There we go. Qualifying session has expired, and we'll head into the race now. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's no split into categories for this grid. They're all starting together. So turn 1 is going to be very exciting. And before that excitement, this is the grid for our opening race of the night. Stefan Wessels, pole position for the gold category, and alongside last week's pole sitter, Harry Langford. Łukasz Sidor started 3rd last week and he won the race. He starts 3rd this week as well. Morgan Short, best qualifying session. 4th place for him with Ben Mccluskey, a disappointing 5th. Jack Pittas in 6th position, following on from a good championship standings position. 6th place is good for him, and Gaz Williams in 7th. Pole sitter at the silver category, Jeffrey Kruger, is in 8th, followed by Jesse Payne-Wilkins and Ben Altria, making it a full tilt 5th row. But Alan McKane in 11th position, with pole sitter of the bronze category in 12th position, Adam Wilson-Weir. 13th for Sean Shute, with Mike Barber alongside him 14th, Gavin Gardner in 15th, with Matthew Addy 3rd of the silver category in 16th. Ben Bennyworth in 17th, with 2nd of the bronze category in 18th is Jonathan Berry, and rounding off that 10th row is Matthew Cheverton and Gabriel Papaconstantino. Martin Hobson and George Stone will line up on the 11th row, 12th row taken up by Ian Manners and Aaron Hobson. Jamie Dory 25th, with Nigel Stock alongside in 26th, Stein Vatens 27th, with Paul Williams in 28th. 15th row taken up by Wesley Lewin and Andy Rooney, who missed last week, but welcome back to Andy on that 15th row there. Phil McDougall in 31st, albeit didn't do many laps in qualifying then, and he's in 31st with Rob Savage alongside him 32nd. Mark Baker 33rd with Simon Hunt in 34th. Jochen Seeger 35th, and 36th is Sammy Reba. We've got Mark Sykes in 37th with Michael Evangeli in 38th, Davide Favo in 39th, and Joppy Siemens in 40th. Gabriel Yilmaz 41st with Andy Chell and Matt Gatter behind. So, that's the grid. And they're all starting together, as you can see, lined up on this back straight here. We're just before the Hans Ernst corner, so it's a very short formation lap before we start the racing here at Zandvoort. Our first race of the night, the sprint race. 20 minutes approaching us. Remember, points on offer for this sprint race and reverse grid for each category to form the grid for the feature race. We'll get going very, very shortly. In fact, we're just about to get going. This is the 5th round of the season, as we mentioned, ladies and gentlemen. We're near halfway through the season. There'll be a week off next week, but the week after we'll be at Bathurst Mount Panorama Circuit. And that'll be a 2-hour endurance. But tonight we have got our regular sprint race and feature race format. This will be a 20-minute race, and after this, later on in the night, will be a 60-minute feature race. We'll see, well, we've not planned any pit stops in this sprint race, but we'll see at least one in the feature race later on. Now drivers will approach the grid, and they are not allowed to put their foot down until the lights go green, or the lights go out and the marshal lifts the flag. Oh, what a camera shot around this high bagged corner of the Arie Luyendykbocht corner. Watching the safety car lead our drivers, our 40 plus grid, to the line here at Zandvoort Circuit in the Netherlands. No Dutch drivers, but we have got 2 Belgian drivers in the field representing Benelux. And here we go, lights are out. Stefan Wessels leads us away here at Zandvoort, round 5 of the season. Blasting down towards Tarzan corner here. Guarding the inside was Wessels, but on the inside of second place there is Łukasz Sidor, and he's going to have a very good start, and second place potentially going into the next few corners, but hanging it round the outside is Langford, but he does not have the better line going into the next corner. Sidor takes second position straight away. Ben Altria has had an instant. Oh, there's a car in the middle of the third corner here. Steinvatens is caught up in that instant, and drivers holding their brakes, but there's plenty of debris all over the circuit and plenty of drivers damaged here and recovering at the back. And it all started something happening to Ben Altria, so we'll go back to that very, very shortly. But a very dramatic middle part of the lap there, and I think the bronze category drivers have ended up clustered together. Adam Wilson-Weir is here with a move down the inside of Adam Wilson-Weir from Papa Constantino. Oh, he's trying to guard the inside, but Wilson-Weir gets him back. He keeps it on the inside as he heads into turn number 10. Brilliant move back from Adam Wilson-Weir to retake the lead in the race. But Jonathan Berry is back here, lurking around, looking for that first spot. First place still held in the silver category by Jeffrey Kruger, and he's got a pretty big gap to Matthew Addy here in second place. And Alain McKane is all the way down in 42nd, so something's happened to him. It might have been that involving that incident with Ben Altria at the start of that race in turn number 3, and we'll have to check on that a little bit later on. But Wessels leads lap number 1 here, and is 7/10 clear of Łukasz Sidor, who took the lead on the first and second corner there on that first lap. Still in 4th place, Morgan Short. He holds championship leader in 5th place there, Mccluskey. At 1 place is Gaz Williams, and biggest mover of the field so far, up 12 places at the start, is Sammy Ariba and Gabriel Yilmaz. Now, albeit there's a lot of drivers who fell off a little bit here, but that's still good pickings from those drivers early on in this race. Brilliant, brilliant picturesque corners here at Zandvoort as we see the GT3 cars hurtle their way around this roller coaster type circuit. Wessels breaking away a little bit. He's a second clear of Sidor, who goes off the track and into the wall. What happened to Łukasz Sidor there? Let's get a replay instantly of that. Heading around turn number 7 here and into 8. Something happens. Oh, he hits the curb too hard and it unsettles the car into the wall, and that's going to be heavy damage on the Mission R driver's car, and he's touring on the inside. He's crabbing. His car is crabbing, so that's it. He's going to have to go back to the pits to get a fast repair, but he's got to be so careful he doesn't get in the way of anyone else. Oh, what was looking so good at the start of this race, and even last week, the sprint race winner. It's just falling into the hands of Ben Mccluskey in the championship here. He will love the sight of that, well, in the terms of the championship anyway. And it means points-wise, he's going to have a good load of them from tonight. You've still got other people to worry about in the championship as well. Harry Langford is only 3rd in the championship, and Wessels is in the 4th place. So he's really got to keep an eye on them and keep going. Up to 6th place overall is Jeffrey Kruger, and really getting his fight on with other drivers in the gold category. Jesse Payne-Wilkins right behind him there. Łukasz Sidor just hitting that curb a little bit too hard, and it just speared him off and into the wall. That's how punishing this track can be. Let's go back to that bronze category fight. Adam Wilson-Weir in 1st place here, but he's broken away from Gabriele Papaconstantino here, who is in a real good position here, because Wilson-Weir and arguably John Berry have not had much competition so far in this championship. But Papaconstantino having a good round so far, good qualifying, good start to this race, and he'll want those valuable points. Now, let's go back to the incident where on lap 1, Ben Altria had an incident, and it seemed to cause the rest of that. We've got to find it. I think we have found it. There we go. Right. This will be lap 1, heading into turn 3. In the middle of our screen, in the full tilt Lamborghini, is Ben Altria. Now we'll go to this camera. He's side by side with a teammate there. Just heads round when he hits the back of someone else, and all cars swerving to avoid, and one car going into the back of him there. Now, it didn't establish what actually happened to Alain McKane, who was... oh, there we go. It's a long way back. Alain McKane's in the pits after the start, so I'm not sure what happened to Alain McKane there. Oh, there's a car off in the background there. That looked like John Berry. It was John Berry's in the wall there from 3rd place, and he's going to drop down many positions to have a heavily damaged car. All kicking off here at Zandvoort. So here we go. This John Berry on the bottom of our screen and Papaconstantino right in front. As we head out of this corner, it will happen there, and it's such a strange place for it to happen. Now, I know Logan Sargent had an incident. Oh, there we go. Not quite where Logan Sargent had his incident, but he got too much curb on the outside. It just skates the car and spins it round, and that is going to be... not race over, but he's going to be touring back to the pits to get himself a fast repair. They get 1 in these sprint races, but that's their lot. Back to the front. Wessels leads. The back marker pulling out of the way of other drivers here. I think that was Martin Hobson getting out of the way. Langford has no response yet to 1.4 seconds clear. Stefan Wessels up the front, looking a performance very akin to Misano a couple of weeks ago. The opening round of the season where Wessels went on to win the sprint race in that and was virtually untouched in that race. Silver category still leading Jeffrey Kruger, and got plenty of cars between him and Matthew Addy. We will switch to the category standings very shortly. But in 3rd place here, despite the not quite what he'd want, the qualifying session that he wouldn't have wanted here for Cheverton. He's doing alright in the race here, catching up with 2nd place Matthew Addy. Side by side here between Mike Barber and Sean Schutz. Oh, contact between the two, and Barber's off the track there. And he drops in between the bronze category drivers and behind Adam Wilson-Weir here. Oh, there's another driver wide there. That was Matthew Addy who's gone wide there, and up his inside goes Ben Bennyworth into the top 10 in the gold category, and another lunge to the inside. That's Cheverton to the inside, trying to take 2nd place in the silver category. Now, I think Matthew Addy has got very dirty tyres, and that is not helping. But Cheverton's up to 2nd place, which is good for his championship. It means he's not going to lose too many points to Jeffrey Kruger, who's just romping away at the front. With Adam Wilson-Weir getting involved in this battle here and trying to break away from the other bronze category drivers. This is Papa Constantino in 19th overall, second place. Plenty of time between him and Wilson-Weir. And the gold category, not a whole lot to report just yet. And we also got to keep an eye on fastest laps as well. As fastest lap in your category will get you bonus points. The fastest lap at the moment held by Wessels, who will get the bonus point. Likewise with John Berry in the bronze category and Jeffrey Kruger in the silver category. Morgan Short in third place here. He'll be very pleased with this. Third place in only his second race of the series. We have another contender for the front. So we had a top four kind of defined with Wessels, Langford, Mccluskey and Łukasz Sidor. Which, by the way, where is Łukasz Sidor? He's retired from the race, so hopefully he'll wait for this feature race. But yeah, we had a top four kind of defined by those drivers. But Morgan Short, based on tonight, this could well be making it a fifth. Certainly see in the feature race, because although the sprint race, qualifying helps you there, the feature race is where the skill properly comes out, as you've got to get through the field from the back. That is a skill in its own, and one that Ben Mccluskey has mastered for many seasons now, and he mastered it at Montreal only a couple of weeks ago. To the inside of Kruger goes Jesse Payne-Wilkins in the Lamborghini, but can't quite convert it, as late enough on the brakes was Jeffrey Kruger. And that's Jack Pittas lurking around as well. A couple of positions down from his starting position. He started 6th, but he's now in 8th. But still, Pittas has had some strong, consistent performances this season, which has seen him into lurking around the top 5 throughout this season so far. Nice battle between Matthew Addy here, and side by side with Adam Wilson-Weir. There was big contact between the two, and a lot of damage came off the back of Wilson-Weir's car then. And a flash of the lights to say, I don't like what you did then, Matthew, but I think Wilson-Weir might well have got away with that. He might have a little bit of damage, but that could have been race over for either of them drivers there, particularly the bronze category leader. But it seems to be resolved here, and they're going to press on. But that looked very, very scary indeed for Adam Wilson-Weir and Matthew Addy. Let's see if we can get a quick replay of that. In the actual tiny events now. But yeah, very, very close between them two then. This is the instance. So there we go. Matthew Addy gets a bad exit from turn number 3. Wilson-Weir gets alongside, and it's very difficult to say side by side along this section. Addy gets a little bit out of shape, hitting too much of the inside there, and that kind of unsettles him into Adam Wilson-Weir, and I think they're going to be okay from that. Oh, as Sean Shute is dropping down as he's stuck on the inside there. See what happened to Sean Shute, heading around turn 1. Oh, overshot it a little bit, and past him will go Cheverton, and I think that's Bennyworth. Oh, contact between the two, and I would say Bennyworth was still on the inside there, so Shute definitely couldn't go to the inside of the corner there, and he would have had his spot at Alain, so a little bit surprising to see what happened to Shute there. But Bennyworth stays safe from that. Shoots has fallen foul to that, down to 12th position now. But we've got side-by-side action between Adam Wilson-Weir and Matthew Addy yet again. Third in silvers versus first in bronze category. Wilson-Weir backs out of it, but he's still side-by-side just about. I don't think he intended to be on the inside for the left-hander there. But it's quite a short braking zone between the two corners there of 11 and 12. arguably one of the trickiest sections on the track is 11 and 12. Now here we go, lining up a slipstream move here. And these are drivers in separate categories, and it was a good slipstream there from Wilson-Weir as he takes to the inside of Matthew Addy for Tarzan corner, turn number 1 on this circuit, and he's through and in front. Oh, and big hit at the rear of the Michelin car there from Matthew Addy. And a flash of the lights there. Maybe that's to say sorry, or it's gonna say hurry up, Adam, get a move on. One or the other. Oh, and a good exit from Matthew Addy there. He gets the up and under, and he's back alongside Wilson-Weir. He might well complete this move before the next corner, and that invites in Mike Barber as well, and it's a Porsche three-way fight here, and into the corner. Matthew Addy's back in front. Barber on the outside of Wilson-Weir, and these are drivers in 3 different categories, and they're just fighting tooth and nail here. Barber tucks back in behind. He's going to try the inside, that turn number 9. Brilliant, brilliant move. Late braking move, and yep, welcome to the Big Boys Arena. Wilson-Weir, as he's got Jamie Dory lurking around him as well. Also in the gold category. Going around the outside there in the BMW. And Ian Manners looking around to try and make a move on Jamie Dory as well. He put his nose alongside him, heading down towards turn number 11 here, but had to back over. He wasn't in quite the best position to make that move. Brilliant battling from these 4 or 5 drivers, and Matthew Addy will be allowed to break away here, but he has lost a lot of time to Matthew Cheverton, who's being towed along by Ben Bennyworth, having one of his stronger performances of the season. 10th overall and 9th in category, a very strong performance from Bennyworth, against whom of which he fought in Season 5 for the Silver Category Championship, and Bennyworth came out on top. That's why he's in Gold Category right now. Back to the front of the Gold Category, Wessels still leads, and it's a 2.7 gap. Brilliant dominating race from Wessels at the moment, but Langford's under a little bit of pressure, just less than 6/10 between him and Morgan Short now. Now, if Morgan Short can put a challenge in the final 5 minutes of this race for second place, that'd be incredible for the debutant tonight. Adam Wilson-Weir, something happened to him there. He went a little bit wide, I think. Let's see if we can get a replay of that, if he in fact did go wide. He was running very slowly there, and he's ended up back behind Jamie Dory and Ian Manners. So Wilson-Weir dropping places overall, but he is still first in category, so it's not looking so bad. But it's looking like a rough few laps for Wilson-Weir. But no, nothing's come up on the timing screen, so had a little bit of a squirrely moment, and he's now still only 2.5 seconds in front of Papa Constantino, who's having a really good race here. It's stretched away from Rob Savage in 3rd place. John Berry has recovered a little bit from the damage he would have picked up earlier, 6th place. We'll see if he can make up any places before now and race ends. Two drivers that started towards the front of their respective categories, Alain McKane and Łukasz Sidor. Alain McKane's not out of this race, but he's still going, but he's more than a lap down, I think. So, yeah, it hasn't quite worked out for Alain McKane, but the feature race is coming up, and if he can finish the race, I think he gets to the front of the grid for that feature race in the silver category. I'm not sure about Łukasz Sidor, though. If he's not finishing the race, I don't think he'll end up at the front of the gold category grid. So that'll be concerning for him. Oh, contact between Bennyworth and Cheverton, and they spin off on the outside there, and they just about avoid all the other cars. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. That was very close between the two. Now, it's the same corner that we've seen other instance today. We head through the fast section here. To the inside goes Cheverton. Oh, he's drifting a little bit, and the car just snaps back into shape and to the left. And he hits Bennyworth. And Bennyworth has carried on here. There's been a couple of instances where Bennyworth has just gotten away with it and just run away. It'll be a rather uncomfortable race for Bennyworth so far, as we're seeing side by side between Cheverton and Adam Wilson-Weir. Wilson-Weir minding his distance a little bit, but up into 3rd place in category is Ian Manners. Nice moves there to get into 3rd place. He'll take that. Nigel Stock in 5th place, trying to catch up with Cheverton just a few cars ahead. The For Ian Manners, it'd be one of his better results of the season, as we're seeing a battle between Cheverton and Wilson-Weir rage on still. Outside is Wilson-Weir going around Tarzan, but Cheverton would definitely have the better line. He's able to tuck back in front. Now I wonder if Cheverton has a little bit of a damaged car or even still dirty tyres from going off the track. He goes very wide at turn number 3 there. Again, a nice undercut there is Wilson-Weir trying to get the lead on for this straight here. I don't think he has quite got enough speed to challenge just yet. And we'll be approaching the final lap soon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a very busy sprint race. Been a few periods where there's been quite a bit of nothing going on, but then all of a sudden everything will happen in this race. That's how it's been. Wessels leads, and he'll go on to the final lap on conclusion of this lap here. And it's been a very, very dominant race. 3-second lead to Langford, who has seemed to have opened up a little bit more of a gap to Morgan Short in 3rd place there. Ben Mccluskey, championship leader, in 4th place as he starts the final lap. Leading the silver category still is Jeffrey Kruger, and we got behind him Jesse Payne-Wilkins and Jack Pittas. Oh, there's been an incident further down the grid. We've got Phil McDougall's had an incident, and Jochen Seeger as well, and there's bodywork hanging off the cars. This is what happened. Now this is McDougall. What about Jochen Seeger, who's touring up front here? I think that might have involved an incident with Sami Ariba, so we'll come back to that. Getting to the inside there. Oh dear, I don't know what Seeger was doing there. Maybe the car was too damaged and he just couldn't do anything about it. But he just stops right in front of Phil McDougall. That's what it looks like. Well, and that's the incident between Jochen Seeger and Sami Ariba. Let's just get a bit more of a replay of that. So Sami Ariba out of the corner, goes very wide, and Jochen Seeger will get alongside. Just the two getting too close together. You could have said Siegert's car bobbled a little bit on the curb. You could have said that the outside car didn't give enough room. It's one of the stewards later on, but one that hasn't had an incident in this race. Has extended his lead to more than 3 seconds in the sprint race. Is back to winning form for Stefan Wessels at Zandvoort. 2nd place for Harry Langford, and a brilliant 3rd place for Morgan Short. His first podium in the series. 1st place in the silver category will be Jeffrey Kruger. Another win to his belt. I think it'll be his 4th sprint race win of the season. 2nd place in the silvers will be Matthew Addy, and 3rd place in the silvers will be Ian Manners. But our bronze category winner yet again is Adam Wilson-Weir. I believe the 4th win of the season for him. 3rd win of the season for him, his 2nd sprint race. And Gabriele Papaconstantino, one of his better results of the season, 2nd place for him, and a strong 3rd place here for Rob Savage. Very interesting race, plenty going on. And it means that the feature race is going to be all the more exciting. But a couple of really good performances in that race. Morgan Short getting a podium in silver category, gold category, sorry. Silver category podium for Ian Manners. Bennyworth doing very well to get 9th place as well. One of his better results of the season. Involved in plenty of battles as well. A lot of retirements also in this race. A lot of major incidents, particularly for Łukasz Sidor. Alain, McKane, Sami Ariba, Jochen Seeger, Stein Vatens. I think only 32 drivers finished on the lead lap in that race. Of the 43 that I believe started. It's really not that much. Right, before we go to the results, ladies and gentlemen, remember there's this feature race coming up very, very shortly. It will start at approximately 9:10 UK time. That's about 20 minutes from now. And that'll be a 1-hour race where the grid will be based on these results in each category reversed. So we'll go to the results of this race, starting with the gold category. Our race winner, Stefan Wessels, 3 seconds gap to Harry Langford and Stefan Wessels. That'll be his second win of the season, both of which being sprint races. Langford, as we mentioned, in second position there, still waiting for his win this season. And Morgan Short with a brilliant second race of the series for him, third place. Ben Mccluskey, championship leader, will stay championship leader, and fourth place for him today, with his teammate just behind, Gaz Williams. Jesse Payne-Wilkins in sixth position, with Jack Pittas in seventh, Gavin Gardner in eighth, and Ben Bennyworth, who was on the cameras a lot tonight, ninth position. 10th position for Mike Barber, just ahead of Jamie Dury, and a lap or more down were Sean Shute, Ben Altria, Martin Hobson, and a DNF for Łukasz Sidor. Silver category, and it's a win for Jeffrey Kruger, 13 seconds clear. A dominant performance from Kruger, but Matthew Addy getting big points for himself in second place there. Ian Manners with one of his better results of the season so far for third place, and Matthew Cheverton fourth place following that incident that happened earlier on. Nigel Stock in fifth position, followed by Paul Williams in sixth, and his teammate is behind, Mark Baker seventh. Phil McDougall in 8th position, followed by Aaron Hobson, and rounding off the top 10 is Jochen Siegert, who is a lap down, and other drivers a lap or more down are George Stone, Alain McKane, and Joppy Siemens. Bronze category, and it's a win for Adam Wilson-Weir, albeit a little bit of drama on the way to get that. A couple of contact moments with other drivers, but first place for him, just a second clear of Gabriel Papaconstantino, who arguably had one of his better results and races of the season so far. Rob Savage in third position, a podium for him, and Wesley Lewin will score fourth position. Michael Evangeli, one of his better results of the season, in fifth. Andy Rooney comes back after a week off last week to finish sixth. Gabriel Yilmaz, 7th, followed by Simon Hunt in 8th position. John Berry, a disappointing 9th for himself, following the drama he had in this race. A lap down were Mark Sykes, Sammy Ariba, Matt Gatter, David A. Favo, and Stein Vatens, and a DNF for Andy Chell. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's been the opening race of the night here at Zandvoort. And as we mentioned, we've got the feature race coming up very, very shortly here at this thrilling track that's been brilliant for this racing tonight. It's an hour-long race, and I think tyre wear is going to be a huge talking factor in that race coming up. So don't turn away, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see plenty of strategy alternatives from the drivers potentially in this feature race. It's the results of that race we just saw, but the categories will be reversed and then grouped amongst themselves. We'll go for a quick break, guys, and then we'll be back very, very shortly. Don't go away.
Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Zandvoort, to the NXTGEN Racing GT3 League Season 7, Round 5 of the Championship here in the Netherlands. And this series, which we're going on a 10-round adventure, hosts Thursday night racing here at NXTGEN Racing. There's also NXTGEN Touring Car Championship starting on Tuesdays very, very shortly. I will be commentating one of the servers for that championship, but it's a fantastic championship consisting of brilliant real-life drivers as well as household names at NXTGEN Racing, so be sure to tune into that in just a few weeks' time. This is Thursday Night Racing, as we mentioned, the 7th season of NXTGEN Racing GT3 series. And a big shout out to partners, sponsors and affiliates that help run the show here at NXTGEN Racing. They include PowerMax, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC and Doble Motorcycles. If you scan the QR code on the lower left of the screen there, or go into the description and click the Discord link, you'll be taken to NXTGEN Racing's Discord server, where you can get involved in the racing. You can get in touch with the admins, you can communicate with the drivers, and generally see what's going on here at NXTGEN Racing on a weekly basis. This season, 10-round calendar. After tonight, we'll be at the halfway point. We started off all them weeks ago at the Misano World Tour Circuit in Italy. And then it was round 2 at Watkins Glen in New York State. And then for the first endurance round of the season, we were at Montreal, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Snetterton hosted last week's round in the UK, and today we're here in the Netherlands at the Circuit Zandvoort. In 2 weeks from today, it will be the second of 3 endurance rounds of the season, and that'll be hosted at the Bathurst Mount Panorama Circuit. Really looking forward to that one indeed. Fantastic. Iconic track for endurance racing, hosting the Bathurst 12 Hours every single year. After Bathurst, we'll be heading back to mainland Europe, to the southern Portugal region of the Algarve International Circuit, and the circuit also known as Portimao. That'll be round 7 of the championship. And then back home for myself, it'll be at the Silverstone Grand Prix Circuit for round 8. Round 9 of the championship will be hosted at the Canadian Tire Circuit, also known as Mosport. Final round of the championship will be a 2-hour endurance, and that'll be hosted at the Le Mans circuit in France, where all roads lead in endurance racing, of course. Really looking forward to that round as well. These are the cars the drivers race in this series: the Acura NSX, the Audi R8, the BMW M4, the Chevrolet Corvette Z06, Ferrari 296, the Ford Mustang, the Lamborghini Huracan, the McLaren 720S, the Mercedes AMG, and the Porsche 911 992 edition. So we got the feature race coming up very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. A 60-minute race, and expect to see plenty of drama in that one, given what happened in the first race. Plenty of incidents, plenty of battling. It was fantastic to watch. All the way through that 20-minute race, and of course, triple the length now for the feature race coming up very, very shortly. Remember what I said earlier, the grid for this race, all the categories will be grouped together, and they will start in reverse order of where they finished in the sprint race within their categories. So our gold category winner in the last race, Stefan Wessels, will start at the back of the gold category for this race. The winner of the bronze category, Adam Wilson-Weir, will start at the very back of the grid, as the bronze category will start at the back. So we have got just half a minute to go, half a minute of practice to get in a few more corners to get acclimatised to the track. And we're going to be heading straight into that feature race. Expect to see pit stops, at least one usually, for these feature races. I imagine it'll be one tonight, but I do think the drivers are struggling with the tyres, but it should still be one pit stop given the amount of fuel they have in the cars. Normally they can take the car to about 35 minutes. Tyres will be interesting to keep an eye on throughout this session, as much as we can anyway, with the data we have. So we'll go through the grid for this feature race. Second race of the night. For our fifth round here at Zandvoort, on the front row will be Ben Altria, who had drama at the start of the race last time out, and he'll have Jamie Dory alongside in second place. Mike Barber will start in third position with Ben Bennyworth alongside in fourth. Gavin Gardner fifth with Jack Pittas in sixth. Jesse Payne-Wilkins in seventh with Gaz Williams alongside on the fourth row in eighth. Ben Mccluskey championship leader in ninth position with Morgan Shaw alongside in 10th. Harry Langford second in the first race. He'll start 11th in this one, and at the back of the gold category is Stefan Wessels and Sean Shute. The silver category will come next, and starting on pole position will be Alain McKane, who was quick in qualifying, so let's see what he can achieve in this feature race here. George Stone will start behind with Jochen Seeger in 16th position. Aaron Hobson will start 5th of the silvers and 4th of the silvers, and 5th of the silvers will be Phil McDougall. Mark Baker will start behind with Paul Williams alongside Nigel Stock and Matthew Cheverton on the penultimate row of this silver category. Ian Manners in 23rd and 24th, Matthew Addy. Starting 25th will be Jeffrey Kruger, the silver category winner in the sprint race, with Joppie Siemens in 26th, and rejoining for the feature race, having not attended the sprint race, will be Jason Raff, starting at the back of the silver grid. Stein Vatens will start in pole position for the bronze category with Davide Favo alongside. Matt Gatter will start 30th overall. Sammy Ariba 4th of the bronze category with Mark Sykes, Mr. Next Gen himself, in 5th position. John Berry in the next position of 6th position. 7th will start Gabriel Yilmaz. 8th will be Andy Rooney, and Michael Evangeli will start next. And then the back of the bronze category pack will be Wesley Lewin, Rob Savage, Gabriel Papaconstantino, Adam Wilson-Weir, Simon Hunt, and Andy Chell. So there we go. Drivers who didn't complete enough laps in the sprint race will start at the back of their category. That's the way it works here at Next Gen Racing. And Sean Shute, Joppie Siemens, Andy Chell, Simon Hunt did not complete enough laps of the sprint race, so they have to start at the back of their category. But pole sitters in each of these categories, Ben Altria, we've seen him win races in the past, and also Alain McKane has nearly won the last two of the last 3 races, I would say. He has nearly won. So definitely keep an eye on him in this race. So there we go. The crowd watches on in this arena section here at Zandvoort, eagerly awaiting this 1-hour race we're about to have. safety car will lead them on. And the difference between this starting procedure and the sprint race procedure, with the obvious adaptation of the categories starting in groups, they have to be separated by approximately 3 to 5 seconds in terms of relative. They get a relative dash on their HUDs on iRacing, and that tells them how many seconds behind the drivers in front they are. And they must maintain the same as the safety car speed until they are told to go by race control. We will hear race control, potentially hear race control on our ears. In our ears, should I say. Right, but the gold category is about to get going very, very shortly. Ben Altria and Jamie Dory at the front of the grid. Lights are out, and away go. The gold category are nipping out very early on. There's one of the Mission R cars. They head down towards Tarzan. Good start to the race by the looks of it for Jamie Dory as he nips straight into the lead and in front of Ben Altria right from the word go there. Silver category is off and away, and Alain McKane straight in front to the lead with Jochen Seeger right behind. Heading through there is Matthew Cheverton trying to sneak his way around the outside, and Kruger starting nice and clean in the bronze category. Silver category I meant. The bronze category, someone has driven away too early. That's Stein Vatens, and he might get a penalty for that as he has got on the throttle far too early, and he leads away miles in front there. And Sammy Ariba will lead them, the actual pack, into Tarzan in front of all of them. Nice and clean from everyone so far, which is very, very nice to see. And I imagine it was very nervous at the start of that race, considering all the drama that happened in the opening sprint race of the night. But we have got drivers making contact in the silver category, and we've got Nigel Stock off the track there and into the wall. Let's see if we can get a quick replay of what actually happened there for him. Oh, I don't think we can actually. Let's see if this goes back far enough. Yes, it does. Right, Nigel Stock's in the middle there. There's something involving him and Mark Baker. Mark Baker got the missing livery in front of him. Into the corner. Oh, that's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. But on rejoining, Nigel Stock just got turned to the side as we head into turn number 1 at the end of lap number 1, and in front is Jamie Dory, challenged a bit by Ben Altria in the Mustang there. To the inside goes Ben Altria, but he has the outside line for the next corner. He might be able to get a good undercut heading out to turn number 3. It is a good undercut as he heads out, but he isn't able to get alongside. Plenty of Quatermass cars towards the front here. Bennyworth in 3rd, Barber in 4th, Pittas in 6th position. And we've also got Langford to keep an eye on. He's in 11th at the moment. No progress from him just yet. But he's right behind championship leader Ben Mccluskey, who has dropped 1 place from his starting position. Silver category. Good start to this race for Alain McKane as he's there in 1st place. 3 seconds clear already, and something's happened to Phil McDougall. He's had a crash and he's jumped to the pits. Oh, something's happened even before that. I think it involves Aaron Hobson. So heading around the final banked corner all the way down the straight will go here. That's Hobson in front, and we're on board with Phil McDougall here. Big dive to the inside, way too late on the brakes. And that'll be heavy damage to Dougal's car, and that might see him out of contention in this race. But a good start to this race for McKane, a good start to this race for Cheverton. He's already up to 3rd place, 6 places gained overall in this race so far, and we've got a battle for the front. That's Altria to the inside and past Jamie Dory for the lead, and no re-contention for that first spot. And Altria is able to get it alongside, heading out of the Arie Luyendykbocht corner, and is able to outbrake Jamie Dory going into Tarzan to complete the move. So will Jamie Dory challenge back? The Mustang is very good around here, I can tell. But how about that BMW of Jamie Dory's there? We'll find out as the race goes on. Jamie Dory is the admin of the Next Gen Touring Car Series, starting up very, very soon here at Next Gen Racing. Bronze category, Steinvaten's lead, 2.5 second lead. And what about race 1 winner? Adam Wilson-Weir having a battle here with Wesley Lewin as they head into turn number 2. Through goes Wilson-Weir. And he's probably going to take Rob Savage with him. He's trying, but able to cover it off at the moment is Wesley Lewin. John Berry's had a good start to this race. He's up a few positions to 3rd in category. Very good start. And let's see if he can convert a feature race win here, as he hasn't had one yet this season. No real movements from the front contenders in the sprint race. Wessels has moved ahead of Jesse Payne Wilkins, and so has Langford. They're still right behind Ben Mccluskey. Like I said earlier, good start for Matthew Cheverton. Matthew Addy in 5th place, worth keeping an eye on him as well, as he's top 3 in the championship. Where is Kruger? He's in 12th place. He is quite a long way back, so something's happened to Kruger along the way. I can see he's had an off track here. Oh, hang on, there'll be another one here. In fact, sorry, I'm going to switch again. Sorry about that, guys. Right, so this is heading around the back end of the circuit. This is Kruger right behind one of the ECO cars. Yakuri Dorseur car. Similar to what we saw with Łukasz Sidor earlier, just taking too much of that inside curb, and the car just turns around. Now, he is lucky in the sense that the car turned him right instead of left towards the tyres. He was able to spin into an empty track, but that has dropped him out of contention, and he's got the whole race now to try and make it back up. 10% of the race complete, 90% to go. He's got a lot of work to do. Matthew Cheverton makes his way around the outside of Seeger, and he'll complete the move here. And George Stone trying to move his way to the inside. Now, George Stone is part of the Mission R Maud's team, who are top of the team's championship at the moment. So this is good points for them and him if he can complete this. Jochen Seeger tucks back behind in 5th place there behind Matthew Addy. But Cheverton's up to 2nd place, which is good points against his rival Jeffrey Kruger, all the way down in 11th at the moment. Fastest lap of the race for Ben Altria at the moment, leading away at the front, 1.2 seconds clear of Jamie Doring. Ben Altria did win a race at Sebring, I seem to remember, 2 seasons ago. I believe. That's my statistical memory, trying to remember all the races I've seen in the last year or so. But he's in the lead of this race and going very well at the moment. And I can't remember the last time actually that Full Tilt won a race in the series. Morgan Short is up to 4th place. He's made his way past Ben Bennyworth, and Morgan Short had a brilliant sprint race, 3rd place for himself, following a good qualifying session. He's now in 4th place and is making his way towards the podium spots very quickly here. And I did, speculate how would he get on in this feature race, getting through the pack. So far, he's doing a little bit better than the likes of Mccluskey, Langford and Wessels at the moment. Mccluskey's stuck behind his teammates at the moment, but there's a bit of a crocodile of cars in front of him anyway, so it's tricky to pass anyway, because they're all getting the benefit of slipstream, a little bit like DRS training here in Formula 1. There's a similar characteristic with just following cars in general and getting slipstream. Oh, and there's a car off on the inside there. I think that's Sammy Ariba. Yes, it is. Sammy Ariba's had an incident, and he was in 3rd place in category. Ian Manners has had an incident as well. We'll go to that very shortly as well. So Sammy Ariba all on his own here. Hits the inside curb, spins round, just like Jeffrey Kruger, just a lap ago. Doesn't hit the barrier. That's very lucky, and Sammy Ariba can at least get it going again. Now, something happened to Ian Manners in the silver category. Has he hit the curb and spun round? Yes, he has. But that spins him off left, and he hits the tyre wall, and it's going to ruin his rear end on the car. And Ian Manners, who's done so well in the sprint race, he's back out on the track with a fast repair. But having done so well in the sprint race, feature race is not going to be quite as good, unfortunately for him. Good lead for Ben Altria, 2.1 seconds. Even better lead in the silver category for Alain McKane. 6.7 seconds from Matthew Cheverton, and Alain McKane coming of form in the last few rounds. This is looking very good so far for the next gen driver. Stijn leads by 2.7 seconds from John Berry, who is a former race winner in this season. Stijn doesn't have a win to his name yet this season. He did pick up a few last season, and very famous to next gen excuse me, battle for the championship win in the final round last season in the bronze category was technically between 6 drivers, and Stijn was one of them. John Berry wasn't one of them, but it's you could argue that he is a championship contender this season in the bronze category. It all depends how well he can perform compared to current championship leader Adam Wilson-Weir, who's right behind Gabriel Papaconstantino at the moment. Mark Sykes, who hasn't had much coverage yet in this race tonight, 3rd place in the McLaren. Good start, good position for him. This will be a moment in the race where drivers will try to settle in to a good rhythm, even though the cars are going to be quite badly handled with the tyres wearing. Now this is a move for 2nd place. Mike Barber makes a move on Jamie Dory. This is turn number 3. Dory goes very wide there, and getting a little undercut there is Mike Barber, and getting the better exit from the corner. It will continue up this straight, presumably. Jamie Dory having the inside for the next crucial section. Oh, nearly contact between the two as they head into the corner, but plenty of room enough given. And Mike Barber able to keep it around the outside and power past. Brilliant move from the Quatermass driver in his best position of the season so far. Head down and concentrate on trying to catch Ben Altria now. Quatermass have a lot of drivers in the top region of the gold category at the moment. It's looking good for them. The main battle to look out for is headed by Ben Bennyworth here, and he's got Gavin Gardner not too far behind. Gardner trying a similar move to that of what happened to Jamie Dory just a lap ago, but I would say Gardner's not close enough and he's not able to get it alongside. But he's very close heading into the back end of the circuit here. And Gardner would be keen to get past Bennyworth because Morgan Short, who arguably as a driver you definitely want to latch onto to try and get up the grid and up the road and up the positions. As he makes a move to the inside of Jamie Dory. And this would be for 3rd place. 3rd place is where Short finished in the first race. You'll have the outside for the next corner, but then immediately inside for the next. Good late braking from Morgan Short. Oh, he gets a bit on the gravel. That's going to dirty up his tyres. But he gets in front of Jamie Dory. Into 3rd place he goes. And his rivals are still down here in 9th, 10th and 11th. And actually there's been a swap of positions between Arie Langford and Ben Mccluskey. Here's how it happened, and we do have to go back to another instance straight after this as Jeffrey Kruger, something's happened to him. Now here it is, McCluskey's right in front of the Quatermass car, heading into turn number 10, big dive to the inside from Langford. McCluskey could do nothing but concede that, but heading out on the exit, the Mustang just had no grip compared to the Porsche, and through goes Kruger. Through goes Langford. This is Kruger now. He's had an incident. It might involve Mark Baker here, trying to get to the inside. Out the corner he goes. Now turn number 10 comes up. And there is contact between him and Mark Baker. It spins him round. And that's more time lost for Jeffrey Kruger. 11th place he is. And he was battling for 8th just then. He's tucked in behind his teammate Joppy Siemens there, and he'll try to get himself further up the order now. But you could say it's rotten luck in this race for Jeffrey Kruger, considering how well the last couple of rounds have actually been for him. 6.4 second lead for Alain McKane here, with Matthew Cheverton in 2nd place. See if Cheverton can get himself closer to McKane as the race goes by. him and Matthew Addy will probably work together a little bit. Oh, as Addy gets very, very sideways out of the corner there. You saw some opposite lock there from the steering wheel on our left. And that's what we were talking about in the first race. The grip being so low for these drivers. Arguably they've all got the same battle with the tyres, with the grip. But it's still very tricky to handle for the drivers. Arguably the circuit that's been probably the worst for grip so far from a spectator's perspective. Anyway, from my perspective, that's what it looks like. Quite away from the pit stops, or the scheduled pit stops, as we see a little battle here between Morgan Short and Mike Barber. Short trying to get the undercut on Mike Barber, whom Mike Barber used that move on Jamie Dory just a few laps ago, and it hasn't worked out for Short just yet. Battle between two Porsches as they go into the back end of the circuit here. Morgan Short is in absolutely fine form right now, and do not write him off for a potential win in this feature race given what we're seeing right now. And this is only his third race in this series. Is he going to make a move into turn 10? I thought he was going to. He was lining the car up exactly how you would for turn number 10 here at Zandvoort. He's got the inside still heading out of the corner. A bit more straight line speed now for Mike Barber as they head down towards the chicane. But can Short keep it on the outside? He's much later on the brakes, but he's overshot it. And back through goes Mike Barber. Nearly worked out for Morgan Short, but he had to be late on the brakes, and it was too late. It sent him towards the kitty litter, and it just did not work out. But he'll try again on another lap, the next lap, presumably. This is on board with Morgan Short, the brilliant gyro camera there. Moving around, pivoting around on the banking there. Nice smooth driving through this roller coaster type circuit. Come back to this battle very, very shortly. Things are getting close between Stijn Wetens and John Berry, because Stijn Wetens is stuck behind Joppie Siemens here, and that is Ian Manners right in front as well, who is a lap down. But this is going to make Wetens very tense, because Jonathan Berry is lurking behind. And there goes Wetens in the green car. Moving to the inside of the back marker, Ian Manners. Manners kind of fights back. This is going to unsettle Wetens a little bit. He is lapping Manners. And there we go. He relinquishes it. And Wetens is able to get through. And likewise is Jonathan Berry. But Jonathan Berry is arguably much closer than he has been all race to Wetens. Wetens is flashing his lights at Joppie Siemens there, and actually Joppie Siemens is on the same lap, so Siemens doesn't actually have to concede. But I imagine Wetens is a little bit more tense now, because Berry is right behind and is going to be planning a move, and he did it straight away actually. Oh, and actually, can Berry get a good move going into turn number 10? He takes to the inside. Wetens has to take the wider line, but I think he's gone too wide there, as Jonathan Berry's able to get his foot down and get himself ahead for this straight here, and he's going to move across and just make sure that Wetens stays behind. Into first place goes Jonathan Berry. It didn't take long after he caught up with Wetens to overtake him, and let's see if he can extend that lead now. It's already growing a little bit. You can see the gap forming between them, and Wetens just looks a little bit flustered now, dare I say it. He's got to respond quickly to Jonathan Berry. There he is, moving up the road. Into Tarzan corner he'll go. Wilson-Weir is into third place. Now he'll work on catching up with not only his teammate but Stijn Wetens to try and get a second place in this race, or even a first place if he can get up towards John Berry quick enough. Now Morgan Short did pass Mike Barber, and you can see them there. This is how Morgan Short did it. This is turn number 9. We're seeing a lot of moves at turn number 10, and I wonder if that's where it's happened. It is. Hugging the inside. forces the driver to go wide. Oh, and there is a bit of contact between the two heading out of turn number 10, but Short gets in front. And now he's got a 5-second gap to cut down between himself and Ben Altria. Can he do it? Now the last lap comparisons, almost identical times, just 200ths between them, Short being the quicker, but it's 200ths. Not much to sing home about just yet, but we'll see with Short having a clear track in front of him how he'll get on. Now Stefan Wessels was jostling for position there with Jesse Payne-Wilkins, and now Ben Mccluskey and Langford are at the other end of this battle for... Wessels is in here, and that's not where he wants his championship rivals to be. It's to be up ahead. But McCluskey and Langford have got ahead of Payne-Wilkins, are in 9th and 10th respectively. Langford back in front of McCluskey has to try and get himself in front of Gaz Williams. Gaz Williams is going to be hanging on tooth and nail to help his teammates. Yes, Gaz Williams holding up. Gaz Williams got the yellow trim on the front of the Mustang there. Plenty of Quatermass cars up here. They'll be scoring big points from this round if this carries on in this gold category. Check on another battle before we head back to that fight there. And Matthew Addy sideways again every time we go on board with him, it seems. And he's trying to stay with Matthew Cheverton. And these two for much of the night have been inseparable. And this is a battle for second place, of which they can't seem to catch up with McKane, who sits at 35.5 on that lap. What about Cheverton and Addy? It's 35.1 and 34.8. So actually they are quicker than McKane on that last lap. But best lap of the race, McKane holds that in this three-way battle at the moment. Now, fastest laps of the race get you a bonus point, and they're held currently by Ben Altria. Jeffrey Kruger in 8th place in silver category, so he is making his way up. And Adam Wilson-Weir in 3rd place. Of the bronze category, that is. Of course, he's close to Stein Vatens, who was dropping off from Jonathan Berry. We saw just a few laps ago the two swap positions, and Adam Wilson-Weir is going to work on trying to get himself into 2nd place in category. Now he's surrounded by a back marker behind him, Ian Manners, and in front of him the silver category driver of Joppie Siemens. And arguably he'll want that CSA car out of the way so he can focus on Stein Vatens. Much later on the brakes, and he had to stamp on the brakes even more, actually. And a flash of lights there to say, come on, Joppie. That's not how you're meant to go through that corner. But Wilson-Weir is struggling to find a way around the CSA driver at the moment. Now, we have had a swap positions here in the gold category. If our camera will switch to it. Langford has passed Gaz Williams, and so has Ben Mccluskey. Here's how they did it. This is Langford passing Gaz Williams. Now this is turns 9 and 10. This will be a diving move we saw Langford do not too long ago, actually. There we go. Well, Gaz Williams had to swerve to avoid Langford. Now, we know what happens at the end of this incident, this overtake. We see it every time there's an overtake at turn 10. So we'll skip on to Ben Mccluskey passing his teammate. Now, Langford being in front, I imagine this might have been a tactical swap between Williams and McCluskey. Or, yeah, potentially. Oh, and Langford speeding his way past Jack Pittas, who's had a very slow exit. And right in the middle there is a CSA car who is not on the same lap, I think, as McCluskey's trying to squeeze his way past as well. I can't quite work out what CSA car that is. But it caused a little bit of disruption there to the gold category. They press on. But in doing so, Langford was able to leapfrog past Pittas' teammate. And Pittas might be able to defend Langford from Mccluskey now. And we'll have pit stops coming up very, very shortly, actually, so it's going to get quite interesting when the pit stops come, because I imagine the undercut here is going to be very effective given how much the tyres drop off here and how quick new tyres are compared to old. So the undercut here is going to come into effect. It's just when they pull the trigger to do so. Now if I was Ben Mccluskey, I'd be looking to pit soon. Now the only problem with the undercut is it means your tyres will be older later on in the race. So Stefan Wessels here. He's past Gaz Williams and he's in 10th place. Now, considering he dropped a few more places at the start, or didn't gain as many places as Mccluskey, he's right behind Mccluskey now, really. So it hasn't been too much of a drop for Wessels at this point. But Langford is looking very racy, as we see. This is Adam Wilson-Weir, our championship leader of bronze category, facing the wrong way, outside of turn number 3. Now, what happened? This is him versus Stijn Vatens. The two didn't come together there, but heading around turn number 3. Oh, the car just got out of shape, and then the two came together ever so slightly and just sent round Adam Wilson-Weir, and that drops him down to 6th place. Now, I tell you what, that gives John Berry plenty of breathing room and will help him in the championship, in that he will be in 1st place here at the end of the race unless something catastrophic happens to him as well. He's in a very big advantage position now. Now, what we've seen, well, what I've seen anyway, is Gavin Gardner's in the pits. Now, I mentioned it would have been a good time to head into the pits to try and get the undercut. Gavin Gardner might be trying exactly that as he heads back out onto the track with a full tank of fuel and potentially fresh tyres. Depends if the drivers opt to take it. I don't actually know if they do or not half of the time, but this might be a track where they do. Depends how much loss they take from taking on tyres. Let's have a little bit of a rundown of the order before they all start nipping into the pits. Leader of the gold category at the moment by 5.5 seconds is Ben Altrier of Full Tilt Racing. 2nd position, Morgan Short and Mike Barber in 3rd. Silver category, a 6-second lead for Alain McKane at the moment from Matthew Cheverton and Matthew Addy. A 4-second lead for Jonathan Berry in 1st place of the bronze category from Stijn Vatens, and now back into 3rd place is Mark Sykes. Still setting 34s is Ben Altrier. He's about half a second off the pace of his best. In fact, all of the drivers are in the 34 range. Can't quite get into the 33s. The only drivers who set 33s in this race is actually Ben Altrier, Morgan Short and Mike Barber at the front. The trail of cars in the gold category, starting from Jamie Dory, they're all just in the mid to low 34s. So I'd say there's plenty of pace left in a lot of these drivers, with open air, with less battling going on. So it gets a little bit cloudy here at Zandvoort, a little bit of cloud come overhead. There is no threat of rain in this race, touch wood. We are in the summertime. It is based on realistic weather, so it's kind of a geometric scan or radar of the weather in this location in real life that it kind of bases it on. It's very, very clever. But beautiful day here in the UK, and presumably a beautiful day in Zandvoort as well. Nice sunshine around the track, albeit a little bit of cloud. Now, Altrier stays out as we're approaching the halfway point. When he heads around next time, it will be the halfway point of the race, time-wise. Jamie Dory has nipped into the pits, so has Harry Langford and Jack Pittas. Very tricky pit entry as well. But they've pulled the trigger and they've decided right now's the time. They're about halfway through the race anyway, so knowing that the undercut will be effective here, Langford of all people might be able to get the jump on other drivers around him. McKane carries on in the silver category. What about the other silver category drivers? Cheverton and Arie carry on. But these are the drivers that have pulled the trigger. That in the background is Paul Williams and Jeffrey Kruger heading into the pits. Heading out is Langford. Still in the box is Jack Pittas, so that hasn't really gone well for him. He's still in the box, whilst Langford and Dory are away. And actually, they're a long way clear of Gavin Gardner, who was the first to pit 2 laps ago. Langford's a long way clear, and so is Jamie Dory. It hasn't quite worked out for Gavin Gardner. But we'll see what happens when other drivers decide to head into the pits. We'll see if Morgan Short, Mike Barber, Bennyworth, Mccluskey, see if they pull the trigger and come into the pits. In fact, Altria will. He'll head into the pits at the halfway point in the race here. Lots of drivers in the pits actually. Stein Vatens, Wesley Lewin, Andy Rooney, Michael Evangeli, Rob Savage. Most of the bronze category are in. Short is in the pits, Barber's in the pits, Mccluskey carries on, and so does Stefan Wessels. And they're battling, heading into Tarzan Corner. Bennyworth's in the pits as well, but the top drivers in gold category are in the pits. Alain McKane is pitted from the lead to the silver category. We'll come back to that very shortly if it materialises a bit more, but I want to keep an eye on the likes of Mike Barber and Morgan Short against Jamie Dory and Langford. Dory goes very wide, heading out of the Kumo corner there, and that's going to give Langford a very good run. On the inside heading into Tarzan, and Morgan Short is already heading out onto corner exit. He's away, and that is not
7-9 for crossing the blend line at pit exit.
Car 7-9 penalty. We'll find out who that is in a very short second. Langford is onto the track. Morgan Short's got a big distance ahead, so that's worked out very well for Morgan Short, and he's pretty much out on his own here, albeit one car ahead in the silver category. Now, car 7-9. Who was that? I haven't quite got familiar with the car numbers just yet. Wesley Lewin. That was crossing the line. A drive-through penalty for him. Now, Mccluskey into the pits, so is Wessels and Gaz Williams. No, Gaz Williams stays out. It's Payne Wilkins in the pits. No, do beg your pardon, Gaz Williams is in the pits. Right, so Morgan Short is a long way clear of his rivals. Mike Barber all the way back here, so Morgan Short may well have not put on tyres than the others did, or maybe less fuel. But Ben Altria, the gap between himself and Morgan Short is much shorter. No irony or pun intended there, honestly. But yeah.
Drive-through penalty, car 117 for crossing the blend line at pit exit.
That's Gabriel Papaconstantino, who's got a penalty, as we heard. He was in 4th place in the bronze category here. So the gold category is shuffled a little bit. Short is a long way clear of Mike Barber, but Harry Langford has had a very, very good in-lap and out-lap, and he's put himself into 4th place here. And he's quite a few seconds clear of Ben Mccluskey for the moment. Worth keeping note of silver category Jeffrey Kruger here. He's had a brilliant couple of laps. He's just set the fastest lap of the race in silver category. He's in 4th place and might be able to get himself into 3rd place if he continues laps like that. George Stone's a little bit up the road here. Oh, as we see a swap of positions between Langford and Barber. It's the infamous turn 10 move potentially. Let's see how Langford gets it done on his teammates. Now, it could have been tactical between the two. Oh, it's not that infamous move. Wide goes Barber and through goes Langford. It's a very different move. It might have been a let-by. It might have been a mistake from Barber. Not too sure. But Langford is let loose. He's got a 4-second gap between him and Morgan Short. Morgan Short would be targeting Ben Outra at the front. 5 seconds clear. Ben Outra cannot let off. 5 seconds might sound like a fair bit of time. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between Payne Wilkins and Gavin Gardner, and round goes Payne Wilkins on the inside of Tarzan. Let's just get an aerial view of what actually happened between the two there as we rejoined it a little bit late. Gardner goes to the inside in the pink next-gen car. Oh, quite hard to tell what actually happened there in full speed there. But I think Gavin Gardner has actually backed off to let Payne Wilkins back by. He might have felt that he was at fault for that, potentially. We'll have to see. Right behind, catching up with some of the gold category members here, is Alain McKane, leading the silver category still 8 seconds. Could this be the day that McKane finally wins a race? Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. It could be. We said that at Montreal. We said that last week at Snetterton. Third time lucky. Let's see. Fastest lap in category for Adam Wilson-Weir in 3rd place. He's had a little bit of drama. We saw him spin earlier on at turn number 3, and he's trying to work his way back up. He's 6 seconds behind Stein Vatens at the moment, so he's got a lot of ground to make up. Catching John Berry will be a very daring task, but we'll see how they get on in the final 25 minutes of this race. This is the battle for 4th place. Barber from Dory, from Mccluskey, and Stefan Wessels. It's clouded over again here at Zandvoort, so might cool down the track a little bit. Mccluskey 6th place here. Now, normally he does take his time to get through the pack and towards the front, but I would argue that Harry Langford and Morgan Short, who are arguably quicker than Mccluskey, are in a much better spot right now. So we'll see how Mccluskey gets on. If he can get himself into 4th place, he's still behind Langford and Short, but he's not going to drop anywhere near as many points. And it's worth pointing out, actually, that Łukasz Sidor hadn't rejoined us for the feature race here. So he called it a night after the sprint race, which is rather a shame. Must be really annoyed at himself because it was his mistake bouncing across the curb that sent him into the tyres. It's a bit of a shame that he wasn't able to rejoin, and it just means that Mccluskey is going to get more of an advantage in the championship, at this point anyway in the championship. Of course, there's drop rounds to consider as well, but the other thing to consider is that Mccluskey hasn't had a bad round yet. This will be probably one of his lowest scoring rounds of the season, and he's not even having that bad a round. You see Barber still in front of Jamie Dory, and it's quite close between him, and Jamie Dory's having a really good night at the moment. Right in amongst the battles, and in a very good position here. Mccluskey and Stefan Wessels right behind him though, lurking around. And Jamie Dory's face on the back of that BMW just in front. And you can see it a bit better now, thanks Ben. But Mccluskey would be wanting to get round his teammate or indirect teammate. Or it might happen here at turn number 9. No, he doesn't make the move just yet. Mccluskey, patient as always, but he has got Wessels behind him, who's going to be looking all around. And there we go. There's the move from Mccluskey to the inside of Jamie Dory. And I imagine Jamie Dory is not going to contend this too much with his teammates as they head into the chicane. Actually, Jamie Dory is not letting off at all, but Mccluskey's nice and tight through the corner there. Has the inside for the next corner. Is he able to keep it in front? Yes, he is. Into 5th place he goes. Now, he did drop a little bit of time from Mike Barber, and that's the problem with Zandvoort. You can stay side by side with someone for multiple corners, and it drops you back so much time from the drivers in front, and that's what's happened. Now, he's only just past a second behind Mike Barber, but it's still time dropped. Now, Steph Wessels will be targeting Jamie Dory. Jeffrey Kruger has got himself into 3rd place. Here's how he did it. And this is for silver category. Very good exit from turn number 3 there from Kruger. He's able to get it alongside George Stone. And probably past before the corner arrives, and he does. Playing it a bit risky by going quite tight. Oh, Jamie Dory, something's happened to him. He's gone off the track. He's had an incident. And it's dropped him down some places. And it was going pretty well for him as well. Now this is heading into turn number 2 and 3. Wessels behind. Does Wessels go for the dive to the inside? He does. Oh, and there's contact between the two, and it spins round Jamie Dory. Oh dear, and just about Gaz Williams avoids Jamie Dory. He gets it to the inside. Now he held his brakes, because that was the right thing to do, because if he had moved forward, other drivers wouldn't have been expecting that. But that has really ruined Jamie Dory's race, and what was looking like a good night for him. He's now 10th in class, and he's right behind Alain McKane, who leads the Silvers. Not a whole lot of battles going on the track. Got Mccluskey, who has gained right back up to Mike Barber. Battle for 4th place. Let's see how quickly Mccluskey can plan a move on Barber. 20 minutes left in the race. And admittedly, if Mccluskey gets in 4th place, the same result as what he got in the sprint race, and he'll lose points to Langford. But championship-wise, it's still pretty good for Mccluskey, and that might be what's on his mind. That's what he was able to do last season so well. When he wasn't getting through the pack and getting to the top, he was able to get the necessary points he needed. A bit like Andy Prio used to do in the World Touring Cars. He never won that many races, but he was exceptionally good at getting enough points to win the championship. Alain Prost was a little bit like that. But arguably, Mccluskey is a much more exciting driver than Alain Prost. But let's continue to monitor this battle for 4th place. There's a bit of a gap between Mccluskey and Wessels, and that will relax Mccluskey a little bit. A little bit of a slipstream coming from Papa Constantino, who would have served his penalty in the last few laps. Up ahead there. Into turn number 1. Quicker by a few, but just 2/10 on that last lap. But Wessels had a very, very quick lap. Half a second quicker than Mccluskey. And it was a PB for Wessels on that last lap. But fastest lap in category is still held by Ben Altria. Ben Altria currently leading the race and getting the bonus points, so a very good haul of points for Ben Altria to help him out in his championship bid and his team's championship. Just to check on the teams where I don't actually. Full Tilt are not an official team in the championship, in the team's championship. As the back marker of Papa Constantino lets through Mccluskey and Barber and now Wessels. Very well done from Papa Constantino there to not interfere with the battle too much going on here. Mccluskey right on the rear of Mike Barber. Gravel spewing out from the back of that Porsche just up ahead. Plenty of dirt being kicked off the cars on this very, very dirty track here. Ben Altria at the front is lapping quicker than Morgan Short at the moment, so it's looking good for Ben Altria at the moment. Is this a dive to the inside at Tarzan for Ben Mccluskey? He just about got his nose on the inside there. Mike Barber gave enough room. Now to the inside goes Mccluskey for turn number 2. He'll have the outside for 3, but that is sometimes the better line to be on. Powers it round the outside, trying to keep it nice and tight is Mike Barber, but through goes Mccluskey, and on the outside now is Stefan Wessels, and he sneaks through. Brilliant move from Wessels following Mccluskey round to get past into 5th place. I want to watch the onboard there from Stefan Wessels. That was a splendid move. Probably the best overtake we've seen tonight. Look at that, the two battling there. He follows Mccluskey round on the power now. And there was just enough of a gap to get alongside him past. Exceptional move from the South African there. That might reignite a battle between Mccluskey and Wessels, which could rage on for the next 15 minutes, final quarter of this race. Oh, and something's happened to Alain McKane. He's spun and he's gone into the wall. Oh no, when it was it was looking so good. Right, this is what happened. He's right in front of Jamie Dory, the leader at the silver category, by the way. Has he hit the curb? Oh, yes, he has. Oh, no. Has he avoided the wall? Oh, I think he has. I think Alain McKane has got away with that. But it is close now between him and Matthew Cheverton here. McKane, who might be out of rhythm now, might be a little bit flustered, has now got to guard his lead from Matthew Cheverton, who has just... Christmas has come early for him. He has got the race lead right in front of him. And also Jeffrey Kruger, who has had not a very good race, it's got to be said, with an incident earlier on. He's not too far away from the top 2 spots either. Cheverton was looking to the inside. He's posing a threat on Alain McKane immediately. McKane, who is in control of this race, is not anymore. Around the outside, go around the banked corner. We've also got a battle brewing for 2nd place in the gold category between Morgan Short and Harry Langford. This might have been a battle we were missing in the first race, and it could well be happening in this feature race. This is the battle for the lead in the bronze, the silver category. It's all just got a little bit more exciting, ladies and gentlemen. McKane powers it round the outside. You can tell he's pushing now. You can tell he just wants to get back away from Cheverton. That's going to be hard to do at this point now. And Kruger is getting closer as well. Kruger on that last lap was a second quicker than Matthew Cheverton, who might be lining up a move. No, not quite, but he was very close heading into Kumo Corner there. McKane just doesn't look comfortable right now, and Cheverton got a better run through Arie Luyendykbocht, and he's got the inside as they head under us now into Tarzan. Cheverton is about to take the lead in this race, but McKane is later on the brakes. Can he power it around the outside? Cheverton gets his nose in front. Oh, they're so close, heading through the kink there. Turn 2 and turn 3. Cheverton's got the better line. Yes, he does. He's through and past. New leader in the silver category. Matthew Cheverton passes Alain McKane. How will McKane respond? He's been quick all race. He's got the pace to contend, but I just wonder if maybe his tyres are a little bit worn from that spin that happened just a lap ago now. And just back here is Jeffrey Kruger. He has a big opportunity for 2nd place in this race, given what's gone on. Very close also between Morgan Short and Langford. Langford trying to line up a slipstream move round the outside at Tarzan. A bit of contact between the two going into turn number 1, but Short stays in control and stays in front. Flash of the lights there from Langford, either saying I'm sorry or I don't like what you just did. Into turn number 3. Both take the same line. Final 12 minutes of this race, and it's getting very, very exciting. Now, I think we have just seen, well, we haven't seen, but there we go, swap of places between Steinvatens and Adam Wilson-Weir. Wilson-Weir going into 2nd place now in category, and it was at turn number 10 where we've seen so many moves tonight. We need to switch back to the live picture soon. Oh, actually, round the outside, potentially. Goes Wilson-Weir. Very good move. That was a lovely move from Wilson-Weir to take second place in category. But Wilson-Weir is 8 seconds off top spot. And someone who's come back alive on this lap, catching back up, is Alain McKane. He was over a second behind a lap ago, and is now 6/10, or maybe 7/10. Keeps nipping between that, behind Matthew Cheverton. So he might be able to put the challenge back in. Now he's recovered a little bit, following his spin just a few laps ago. No move this time from Langford going into turn number 1. But Langford looks real comfortable in that Porsche there compared to Morgan Short. He seems quicker, but he's got to be able to plan where the moves happens. And that'll be what he's plotting here. Where is best to make a move on Morgan in front? Or he'll be trying to force Morgan Short into a mistake and capitalise on that. Taking all the track and more is Langford. A little bit of a chunk of the grass he's taken out there on the outside. Ten minutes to go in this race. Well in control is Ben Altria, on his way for his first win for a very long time, I think. John Berry might be on his way to his first feature race win of the season, following 2 sprint race wins he's had. And Matthew Cheverton might be on his way to his 3rd feature race win of the season. Cheverton in the silver category has so far won every feature race that we've had. And of course, we didn't have one at Snetterton last time out, but he won at Watkins Glen and he won at Misano. But he's got Alain McKane still close to him. From the back of Matthew Cheverton, looking back at Alain McKane. Very nice sounding Mustang there. It's the view from Alain McKane. Looking forward, trying to catch up with Cheverton and try another battle for the top spots. He was quicker on that last lap by 6/10 of a second, well, just over half a second actually. But look here, Jeffrey Kruger is putting in even better laps. He, on that last lap, Kruger was nearly a second quicker than Matthew Cheverton. He's just less than 2 seconds now off of Alain McKane. This could be a 3-way battle in the final 5 minutes of this race in this silver category. We haven't seen many battles yet this season between Cheverton and Kruger, but we might be getting one. Back to this battle for second in gold category. Can't seem to get the better at the slipstream down there. Oh, hang on, a big dive to the inside, and Short had to evade to the outside there. Brilliant move from Langford. Into second place he goes, and none of us were expecting that. I don't think even Langford was expecting that, but straight back to the inside goes Morgan Short. Powering around the outside goes Langford, and there's contact. Oh, round he nearly goes, but he's able to keep going. Morgan Short has disappeared from existence, but somehow Langford is still going. Flash of lights there from Langford as Short has reappeared in front of him. But that was a very, very tight affair between the two of them. Let's get another replay of that. Let's get it all the way from back here. This is the move from Langford. Completely unexpected. And that might have been why Short retorted. There we go. Oh, there was a little bit of contact between Langford and Short. It kind of shoves Short wide. And then as we head into turn number 3, a big dive from Morgan Short. There it is. And I think he just kind of understeers up into Langford. But somehow Langford's able to keep it in a straight line, and Short disappears for a few seconds and then reappears there. It's like magic, as it's only magic, as Bob Mortimer said. Oh, and actually Short's connection is still not looking good. I think there was a bulletin put to him, well, not a bulletin, but a notice put to him that his connection wasn't great. That was put in Discord. And the internet disconnection is the sim racing equivalent of an engine blowing up, as I always say. Flashing lights there from Langford, the back marker there, needing to get out of the way. I think that was Wesley Lewin. I think. I don't think it was, actually. I think it was Gabriel Yilmaz. Do excuse me. But this battle might, well... I don't think it's over yet by any stretch. Langford will try again. And there's only 5 minutes left in this race. This is just allowing Ben Altria to pull away at the front. He's now 8 seconds clear. And this battle for silver category, Kruger is still catching. He wasn't that much quicker on the last lap, but he was still quicker. And he's now going to be getting a slipstream from Alain McKane, which is going to be helping him get even closer. It will be extraordinary if Kruger can come away with this as race winner, as long as it's done clean from these three drivers. That will be very, very interesting. Back to these two. Ben Mccluskey's actually lurking around here. He's just over 2 seconds behind. If Short and Langford battle intensely again, Mccluskey might be invited to that battle. Here we go. Guarding the inside is Morgan Short. Langford is closer, but he's not close enough to make a move. Now within a second of Alain McKane is Jeffrey Kruger. So it's now a three-way battle in the silver category for the win. There they are, heading to the end of lap 35 for them. And there's not much time left. Cheverton really does hold the cards at the moment. I think McKane is trying everything he can to catch Cheverton, but it's not quite working. But Kruger is able to close in on McKane. Back to the gold battle for second place. Ben Altria has got this race in his hands. And he'd be thrilled to see in his relative that these two are close together and fighting. Langford, whose only race win in NXTGEN Racing GT3s was at Nürburgring last season. He hasn't had one yet this season, believe it or not, even though he's in the top 3 in the championship, and he's been at the front contending for much of the season so far. Down the main straight, he's not quite closing in on Morgan Short. But Mccluskey and Wessels are closing in. There's them two right behind them. Short goes a little bit defensive into turn number 3. Kruger is closer to McKane than he has been. That relative there, the closest it's been as Kruger. Oh, I thought he was going to think about a move then, but he didn't. Langford, will he pick up a move going into turn number 10 here? No, Morgan Short's going to guard the inside. Langford did think about it, though. There was a little bit of a gap, but Short was able to cover it at the very last second. Langford's running out of options here, and as Altria will finish this lap, he will start his final lap. So it'll be the final lap for everyone. One more opportunity for all these drivers to get the position they want. Autry, I honestly don't know the last time he won a race in the Next Gen Series. I'm fairly sure he won at Sebring 2 seasons ago. Langford is super close. Heading into Tarzan. He was able to get alongside, but it's not the best line around there, and it's the only choice he had. Morgan Short's hanging on very well here. Silver category are heading to the end of their penultimate lap of this race. McKane is close to Cheverton. Kruger is close to McKane, but it's not quite happening for McKane and Kruger just yet. Short and Langford head through the S's. 9 seconds clear is Ben Autry. He's got the race in his hands. He just needs to bring it home. Starting their final lap is the battle for silvers. Oh, and Langford goes round. He spins it round. Pushing way too hard through the right-hand kink there, the Masters corner. And here's how it happens. And he has lost so many positions. Down to 6th now. Oh, he hit the back of Short and it just sent him round. Oh, he'll be so annoyed with himself, Will Langford. And that allows Mccluskey through into 3rd. But we must switch to our winner now. And there has been a swap of places in the silvers. There is a battle going on in the silvers. But Ben Autry is a winner in the Next Gen Racing GT3 Series. He wins this feature race at Zandvoort. And the battle between McKane and Kruger is on, and we'll watch that final lap between them a bit later on. We have to greet through our top 3. Morgan Short, 2nd place in the golds, and Mccluskey, 3rd in the golds. Still battling these two. Kruger's not able to get it alongside, and I think that might have been his last opportunity. Or was it? Because McKane had a very bad exit there from the chicane. Cheverton, this is music to his ears, as he's able to safely exit these final few corners, and he'll be the winner of this silver category, overtaking McKane following his spin earlier on in the race. He takes the win in this feature race, his 3rd of the season. McKane gets 2nd. That win still eludes him, but Kruger, a fantastic recovery from the earlier race drama he had to finish 3rd place and be within touching distance of 2nd and maybe a win. We will definitely need to watch that final lap between Alain McKane and Jeffrey Kruger. Jonathan Berry comes through to win the bronze category. His first feature race win of the season. And Adam Wilson-Weir, 2nd place for him, following a spin earlier on in the race. And Stijn Vatens will come through in 3rd place following his pole position start in this race. Oh, my word. I need to lie down after that. That was an incredible final quarter in that race. Now, let's just go back to the replay of Alain McKane and Jeffrey Kruger battling. And we might be able to go back even further than this, actually. Let's go back here. Now let's go back even further. So here we go. This is exiting Tarzan. McKane's in front, in the middle of this trio. And Kruger's at the back. Heading into turn 3, a big dive from Kruger, and he gets it in front. That's an enormous move, but McKane is able to get the undercut and get it back alongside. Brilliant move, actually, for Jeffrey Kruger, but McKane's able to get it back. He powers it around the outside here. Oh, brilliant racing room provided by the two of them. How does McKane get this back at this point? I'm wondering. He just keeps it alongside, powers it around the outside at turn number 8 there at the Masters corner, and then turn number 9 still holding the outside. I have no idea how McKane hung on to that. That's superb driving from him to keep it in 2nd place. Right, and let's go back to that incident happened between Short and Langford. I have to try and find it now, that's the thing. think this is it. So there we go. This is the diving move from Langford on Morgan Short, one of the more thrilling battles of the race, apart from the one we just watched. And a big dive to the inside there. And Morgan Short must not have liked that, and he must have thought, well, I'm having you straight back at the next corner. Which, to be fair, with the bank corner here at turn 3, you're able to do. You're able to just lunge it to the inside. Oh. And then, later on, Langford, right up close to Morgan Short, taps the back. And the thing is, these cars are so front-end sensitive that it just swaps them round. And particularly as the load of the car will be on the front in that corner anyway, it just puts more on it and it just turns it round in an instant. Langford will be quite annoyed with himself about that. But still, plenty of great battles across the field. I thoroughly enjoy that. One of my most favourite races of the season so far. And celebrations for Full Tilt Racing. They were the team to look out for 2 seasons ago, with Karol Pochalka winning Season 5 and Full Tilt winning the team's championship. But Ben Altra wins tonight in this feature race, his first win since Season 5, I believe. A brilliant win from him, from the front row as well. Morgan Short, second place, a strong night for him. Second place and a third place, with Ben Mccluskey, a good recovery drive in the latter part of that race to secure third in the end. Stefan Wessels, winner of the sprint race, takes fourth in this race. Good points for him, considering the luck he's had this season. Mike Barber in 5th place. He's had a strong night. And also Harry Langford, who was... it was a shame that what happened to him at the end of the race there, but he still had a good hunk of points out of tonight. Gaz Williams in 7th, followed by Ben Benworth and Jamie Dory in 9th. And rounding off the top 10 is Jesse Payne-Wilkins. Jack Pittas and Sean Shute, last of the lead lap runners. And Gavin Gardner retired 16 laps from the end. Silver category now, big 3-way battle at the end there, and it's Cheverton that comes out on top, following a mistake from Alain McKane about halfway through the race, just after the pit stops, is able to capitalise, get in front and keep it to the end of the race. McKane, not this time I'm afraid, not third time lucky, but second place, another good result for him. That's 3 second place finishes in a row for Alain McKane. Jeffrey Kruger couldn't quite convert 3 race wins in a row, but a third place in this race tonight means still good championship points for him, and I believe still leading the championship after tonight. Jason Ralph with his best result of the season in 4th position, with George Stone in 5th. It's an Acuri Col d'Assur 6, 7 and 8, with Williams, Seeger and Baker lining that position trio, with Matthew Addy in 9th place. Not such a good end to that race for him. A lap or more down was Joppy Siemens, Ian Manners, Nigel Stock retiring from the race, same with Phil McDougall and Aaron Hobson. Bronze category, and it's another win, but his first feature race win of the season for Jonathan Berry. Just 7 seconds behind is Adam Wilson-Weir in 2nd position, and 3rd place going to Stein Vatens. Wesley Lewin 4th position, with Mark Sykes in 5th, Gabriel Papaconstantino in 6th position, followed by Michael Evangeli. Andy Rooney in 8th position, Sammy Ariba in 9th, Robert Savage in 10th, Gabriel Yilmaz in 11th, and Simon Hunt on the same lap as him in 12th, Matt Gatter, Davide Favo and Andy Chell not finishing the race. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that's been a thrilling night of racing. We're going to have some interviews. Hopefully we can have interviews with our race winners. We'll chat to bronze category winner first of all. Before we drag our bronze category winner in, we are going to go back to the start of this race so we can watch the race from the very start whilst we're talking to our victors. So first of all, we will talk to John Berry, our bronze category winner for tonight. So John, welcome to the comms booth. First of all, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, John, congratulations on the feature race win, your first of the season. So just chat us through how that race went for you.
better than the first one. Yeah, no, it was really straightforward start to finish. I was struggling to catch Stein at the beginning. I just couldn't find the pace from the sprint or even any practices. Race pace seemed to be about 1:35, which kept the car quite comfortable, nothing silly. So yeah, just brought it home and just watched the carnage unfold behind me, I guess.
Just remind us what happened in the sprint race again. I'm a bit hazy on what happened because there was a lot to cover.
I had an incident with Martin, and that happened. And then I made a silly mistake, and I cost myself places by coming out of the banked left-hander. I can't remember the name of the corner. Banked left-hander, and put it in the wall, I believe.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so that is entirely my own fault. But yeah, I just ruined it for myself, really, and I tried to fight back, but I was struggling to get past a few people who just wouldn't let me back through. So yeah, just well-deserved feature win, and all the time and effort that I put in is starting to show.
Yeah, it absolutely is. This is a much better season for yourself than last season, and actually the results are really coming through now at this point in the season with the sprint race win you had at Watkins Glen. You had a good position in Canada, sprint race win last time out at Snetterton. Are you feeling you can perhaps put a championship challenge to Adam, considering drop rounds are yet to be applied?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to see us do a 1, 2, 3. That would be quite cool. It would be quite difficult, but it would be cool to have our first season as a 1, 2, 3 missionar, which would be really, really good. I'd like to think I can challenge him. If I can keep up what I'm doing at the minute, I might stand a chance. Trading win for win with Adam tonight is really cool. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely great. So, next up, we got a week off, but next up we have got Bathurst and a 2-hour endurance. How is that track for you?
I quite like it. It's quite good. It's quite difficult to see over the top of the hill in the BM. Again, similarly to the Mustang, it's not easy, but I make it work, and I'll be practicing a hell of a lot to get there because I want another win. I'm now hungry for more wins.
Absolutely.
So, Adam, I'm coming for you. Everyone else, I'll see you in my review.
Yep, got to put the pressure on.
Absolutely.
Okay, you've been nagging me all night. The floor is yours to give shout out to anyone who might be watching, supporting you.
Hi, Dad. Know you're watching.
So do I.
Thank you for David Wilson for sponsoring the team, which is Maud's. So thank you very much for that one. And then Dubby, Capture Athletics, and then just the team for putting in the time and effort to get to where we are. All the practice sessions are paying off. So thank you all for tuning in and watching. We much appreciate it, and hope you continue to carry on with us.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Okay, thanks, John. Good luck in 2 weeks' time at Bathurst. We'll see you then. In the meantime, well done on your feature race win.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.
There we go. John Berry, our bronze category winner in the feature race, and of course his teammate Adam Wilson-Weir won the sprint race. Right, we're now going to chat to our gold category winner, and arguably it'd be one of the easiest wins of the season. Yeah, sorry Ben, we dragged you into the interview room. Arguably it'd be one of the easier wins of his career, but it's finally a win for himself. Ben, first of all, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Great stuff. I think you won in season 5. I can't quite remember, but your first win for a very long time.
Yeah, the last overall win I had, I think, was Catalonia.
I had Sebring in my mind, but I think that might be someone else. I think you are right about Catalonia 2 seasons ago, though, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 2 seasons.
Well, there we go. So, yeah, season 5. So, it's been a long time coming, but, like I said, it might have been one of the easier wins you've had, but just chat us through how that race went for you.
Well, once I'd got clear of Jamie after the start, it was relatively plain sailing until I got round towards some of the early backmarkers who made it a little harder than it could have been to get past them. And I was watching Morgan, I think it was. I was watching the time gap behind towards him, and every time I would come up to a back marker, I would lose half a second or so to him, and then he would catch up to the same one and lose the same or slightly more. And just from there, I just kept edging away until I had a nice little gap of 5 or so seconds when we came in for the pit. Worked out quite nicely.
Excellent stuff. And what about Zandvoort as a track? Is it one you felt, starting towards the front of the grid, did you feel confident heading into it?
I love Zandvoort as a track. I enjoy it quite a lot. The Mustang during practice, qualifying and race 1 did not feel very nice around here. But for some reason, I don't know why, it felt far better in race 2. So much nicer. The lap times were a little slower than they were before. Right. But it just seemed to have a lot more grip and stability. I could trust it much better.
I do know that the track was cleaned between the sessions, whereas it wasn't between practice qualifying and the sprint race, so maybe that was a factor in it?
That may be it.
And what about Bathurst in 2 weeks' time? How's that track for you, and how's that track for the Mustang?
I have no idea for the Mustang. Bathurst in GT3 is not my strong suit. It's another track that I enjoy a lot, but I've never been particularly fast there. I was quite good in the TCRs when we were there for NXTCC, but GT3s I've always struggled around there for some reason. I'll see what the Mustang's like. I think it's going to be a little bit leery coming over the top of the mountain.
Maybe, yeah.
We'll see.
But come on, have a bit more confidence. You just won the feature race.
Is what it is. I win, I lose. Same feeling. I'm all good.
We'll see. Are you feeling a little bit relieved that you've finally picked up a win in this series? Is that on your mind at the moment?
It's been a bit of a tough season. I've been struggling with getting to grips with the way the Mustang wants me to drive it. I'm starting to get there with it, I think, but it's a little outside of what I'm used to, and I'm racing 5 different cars in 5 different leagues at the moment. So
I know that difficulty. Yeah.
It's difficult to step between them all and pick them up quickly. I usually end up going quicker towards the end of the night, and by that point, most of the racing's over. Yeah,
I understand that. So, what is it that brought you to racing with the Mustang then in this series?
I just wanted something that was different. I'm trying to push myself as a driver. So rather than sit in the cars that I'm comfortable in and only race those and do nothing but that, I'm trying to force myself into situations that I wouldn't put myself in willingly and make it difficult, so that I'm having to learn to be a better all-round driver.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. That's a great excuse to pick the Mustang.
Well, it was either the Mustang or the Porsche, probably.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
I don't have an issue with the Porsche. I can drive it quite well, right up until it tries to kill you. And if I can't trust a car, I just can't drive it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those cars that, as soon as you lose trust in the rear end, it's a ladder to get it back.
Yes, I understand that. Was it the Audi you were driving last season? I seem to remember.
Yes.
Yeah. So you drove that for 2 seasons, didn't you?
I drove that for a lot more than that, but yes, only 2 seasons here.
Yeah.
The Audi was the only GT3 I was driving for probably the best part of the year. But yeah, I stepped out of that because one of the other leagues we're not using the Audi this time.
I get the sense it's not quite on the pace anymore.
No, it probably would be, actually. I think when I did some testing, I wasn't far off the times I was in the Mustang. And that was after like 30 laps of practice in the Mustang and 4 in the Audi, So yeah, I just didn't want to drive the Audi again. It goes back to that point of it's the car that I'm comfortable in.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to step out of it and into something different.
Okay, so the floor is yours. You're a race winner. You're in the comms booth. Give a shout out to anyone who might be listening and watching you tonight.
I'm not sure anyone's listening, but I would like to give a shout out to my girlfriend for all the support she gives me in my silly endeavours all the time.
Lets you sim race, yeah.
And then the teammates and the lads that I sit with when we're racing and chatting.
Fantastic. Well, Ben, congratulations on your feature race win. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Bathurst.
Thank you very much, mate. Have a good evening.
You too. There we go. Brilliant drive from Ben Altria. Controlled the pace at the front. Looked very calm. There are a few little hairy moments we noticed there in that Mustang. A few times where he's hit the grass and got a little bit out of shape, but kept hold of it. As he said, he's in a car that he feels comfortable in, and that's helping him along. Right, we have got one more interview, and it is with our second place driver from the gold category. The source of a little bit of drama towards the end of the race there. It was thrilling to watch. But we welcome Morgan Short to the interview booth. Morgan, you're on... No, you're not off mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
And we can hear you. Excellent stuff. Well, Morgan, you've made quite the statement in your first 2 races here at NXTGEN Racing GT3s. That was a fantastic race in this feature race. So, talk us through, the start to finish, in brief words, how it went for you.
Well, I used to do a lot of league racing, especially over COVID, and I used to do loads and loads of league racing, and then I sort of took a long hiatus, came back, joined for Snet, got wiped out on lap 1, which was fun, reminded me why I took such a long break from league racing. But I knew my pace was better than my qualifying showed. Obviously, I'm very used to doing lone practices in that race. So, yeah, I knew I had a point to prove coming into this one. 2 circuits in a row that aren't necessarily my favourites, but really got into the swing of it here at Zandvoort. Qualified decent, had a nice first race, was right on the back of Harry, but just didn't have that final bit of pace to get past him. And then I knew that starting at the sort of front of that chunk of us, those sort of top 5 from the previous race, I definitely had a chance of making my way forward. I didn't know just how forward I'd be able to get. I had that was one of the most fun races I've ever had. Making lots of overtakes in the beginning. I think I was overtaking almost a car a lap. But yeah, really fun. And then got out behind Ben. Our pace was very, very even. Dived into the pits at the same time. Came out a little bit closer. But I think what cost me really from being able to get a bit closer was I took. This is my first feature race in these. Obviously, it would have been Snet last week, but that never materialised. So. Yeah, I only took rear tyres, and then I was really struggling with the front towards the end, so Harry was able to get closer and closer, and then I was able to hold him off. We had a bit of a ding-dong, but I thought all was pretty fair. He tried to move up the inside that I don't really think was on, and then I sent it back up the inside, and then we ended up where we should have been, really. And yeah, so it sort of turned into a more defensive drive as I struggled with the front. He was definitely quicker than me towards the end, but once I realised I wasn't going to catch Ben, I was just full defence and hold off this position for second.
Fantastic insight into the battle you had with Harry there. It was great to watch, so I definitely recommend you go back on live stream and watch it. But well, interesting to hear your perspective on it. Very thrilling. But you mentioned this is a track you're not particularly. It's not particularly a favourite of yours. Neither Snetterton last time out. What about Bathurst next week? Because, to be fair, your pace in both tracks that you don't really like is pretty good. So,
yeah, well, I feel like it might be the opposite for Bathurst, because I love Bathurst. I used to be rapid around there, but I don't think I am anymore. Every time I've driven it since, it's taken me a long time to get back up to pace. So it's going to require a bit more practice for Bathurst. It is one of my favourite circuits to drive, but it's definitely not one of my quickest. So it's going to be interesting.
I reckon he's just being modest, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's going to do okay. But let's just see. Is any part of you feeling a little bit frustrated that you didn't join the season earlier on? Because, with this pace, you could have been challenging for top 5, top 3, top 1.
Yeah, I think there was some circuit. I was away over the winter. I didn't I was off the sim for a long time, and I got back in the middle of March and started to ease myself back into it. And then I just thought, I'm free some weeknights. Let me see what leagues I can join. I've been a member of NXTGEN for a long time, but I've never actually raced with them. And I thought, why not get back into league racing? You know, I do a lot of iRacing and do, you know, the official races, but not, like I said, not done league racing in 4 or 5 years now. So it was nice. It was really nice to get back into it and be fighting at the front. Didn't really know how my pace was going to be compared to these top guys. Obviously, there's some guys that are definitely quicker than their iRacing would suggest. So it's been really fun. I've enjoyed it. It was a little bit frustrating at Snetterton with being taken out and then the feature race not happening. But to be honest, it was. I said I hate Snet in the real world as well. It's a horrible circuit. So this is much nicer.
Yeah. Ah, brilliant. Lovely. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, Morgan. The floor is yours. If anyone's watching, give a shout out to them.
Well, my family were watching, but they've just stuck the United game on, and apparently I didn't bother watching when we were down 2 in extra time, but now it looks like we've just won. So I've missed all of that. But there's no place I'd rather be than in this interview room.
You're a United fan, are you?
For my sins, yeah.
Oh dear. Right. Well, it was nice knowing you, Morgan. Well done tonight. Certainly a candidate for driver of the day, in my opinion. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Bathurst. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hope to be back in this interview room then as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Morgan.
Cheers.
Yep, as I said, candidate for driver of the day, in my opinion. Also Langford, Ben Altria, also Wessels. You've got to put Mccluskey in there as well. He made some great recovery drives. Jeffrey Kruger, brilliant tonight as well. Plenty of candidates for that driver of the day, which is normally something I kind of give unofficial driver of the day awards out, but haven't done it for a while. But anyway, we are going to wrap up tonight's live stream, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a brilliant night of racing. I've really enjoyed racing here. Well, commentating and spectating here at Zandvoort, and I hope we return in a near series. But we're going to wrap up the stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the 5th round of the championship here at Zandvoort, and we are out of the first half of the season and heading into the second half of the season, which looks a little bit like this. We got Bathurst in 2 weeks' time, and that'll be a 2-hour endurance. No qualifying. It'll be the practice session, and then straight into the race, which will be formed by the grid, formed by the championship standings reversed for each category. This has been the NXTGEN Racing GT3 Championship. And one thing I'm just going to check before we go is if the championship stands. No, they haven't been updated, so we'll go through them for next week, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies, we can't bring that to you right now. But we're going to wrap it up now. This has been the NXTGEN Racing GT3 Championship. A huge thank you to NXTGEN Racing's partners, sponsors and affiliates that include Powermax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC and Doble Motorcycles. Feel free, if you want to get involved in the racing, scan the QR code on the lower left there or click the Discord link in the description to join NXTGEN Racing's Discord server and get involved in the racing here at NXTGEN Racing. My name's been Alex Everett, your commentator tonight, and we'll see you next time at Bathurst. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, that's all from us here at NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.